As time passes, Lin Moyu seems to have met an old friend. The long river of time in the big world seems to be no different from the long river of time in the Boundary Sea. Lin Moyu thought in his heart that he already knew what Wei Xian was going to do. He wants to go through the long river of time to find out who killed the purple-robed Tianzuan. But there is a difference between the inside and outside of the world. Outside the world, it is difficult to see what is happening in the world. Wei Xian also said that he would not intervene in the world war, and naturally he would not enter the world of Boundary Sea. What's more, Tianlong erased the time mark of that period at that time, and his hands and feet were very clean. Lin Moyu has used time to look back countless times, and he can be sure that Wei Xian will get nothing. The long river of time casts light and shadow, showing what has happened. Every bit of the past is reflected in the light and shadow. The screen shows that the three heavenly lords from the Luozi sect came here last time, with arrogant attitudes, and were finally killed by Shueiji Heavenly Lord and Lin Moyu. Wei Xian looked at Lin Moyu with surprise. "Little guy, your fighting power is very strong. Intermediate Supreme, counter-slashing Heavenly Lord, this combat power is terrifying." Wei Xian didn't seem to be angry that he killed Tianzuan of Luozi sect. Lin Moyu was thinking about the relationship between Chizai sect and Luozi sect. Could it be that the relationship between the two sects is normal, or is it because Wei Jin is a Taoist and doesn't care about Tianzuan's life or death at all? Thinking in his mind, Lin Moyu said, "Thank you for the compliment, Senior. I'm just trying to protect myself." 693 Wei Xian smiled, said no more, and continued to look back in time. The power of the river of time penetrates into the big world. The river of time only looks for things that have happened in the big world, so it does not count as intervening in the world war. Lin Moyu didn't stop it, and he didn't have the ability to stop it. He just hoped that Dao Zun's ability wouldn't be too outrageous. What happens in the big world also appears in the light and shadow. Lin Moyu watched carefully, not daring to miss any detail. He knew very well that Wei Xian would not miss any details. Facing Tao Zun, if you make any mistakes, you will be caught. Fortunately, Tianlong did it very thoroughly, and even Tao Zun could not retrieve the erased mark. The purple-robed Heavenly Lord, including the four Heavenly Lords who came later, have all disappeared in the long river of time. Wei Xian frowned. The timestamp has been erased. If the time mark is erased, there will be gaps in the long river of time, which cannot be concealed from the Taoist master. At this time, he pointed his finger on the compass magic weapon, and the river of time became more and more brilliant. Lin Moyu was shocked. He felt the law of time like never before. It can no longer be called a law, but should be called the avenue of time. Wei Xian intensified his search, but still found no results. He said to himself, "Siba, it's quite thorough, but it's useless." At this time, he took out another purple robe. This purple robe was exactly the same as the purple-robed Tianzuan's clothes. It should be said that it is the purple-robed Heavenly Lord's clothes, which are stained with the aura of the purple-robed Heavenly Lord. Wei Xian lit a flame in his palm, burned the purple flame into ashes, and then scattered the ashes on the compass magic weapon. At the same time, waves of majestic and powerful power were injected into the compass roared, and an illusory figure suddenly appeared in the projection. Lin Moyu was shocked. This is through cause and effect, and in conjunction with the passage of time, the erased marks are forcibly restored. This method, Tao Zun, is too terrifying. The figure revealed seemed to be the purple-robed Heavenly Lord, but it was very vague and difficult to confirm. But this is enough, at least I can see clearly. At this time, a dragon-shaped creature appeared and bit the purple-robed Heavenly Lord to death. Wei Xian frowned. Dragon Clan. The scene was not over yet. After the purple-robed Tianzuan was bitten to death, 4 more figures appeared and they began to chase Tianlong. These pictures emerge with the help of the law of cause and effect. They are illusory and hazy and can only be seen roughly. Immediately afterwards, Tianlong began to escape, and 4 Tianzuan chased him. Suddenly, another dragon flew out of it and directly strangled the 4 heavenly lords. Wei Xian's body trembled, the projection disappeared, and the river of time disappeared. Wei Xian frowned. How can it be a dragon clan, and there is also a dragon clan at the Taoist level? Although he spoke very softly, Lin Moyu could still hear him. Lin Moyu is absolutely sure at this time that Antares' realm is Taoist. Only Tao Xun can kill for Tian Xun across the world. Wei Xian put away the magic weapon. He never doubted Lin Moyu from beginning to end. In his opinion, although Lin Moyu could defeat Tian Xun, he would not kill him so cleanly. Seeing the Dragon Clan take action in the projection also proved his guess. The purple-robed Tian Xun and the other 4 Tian Xun were all killed by the Dragon Clan. The ones who took action were a Tian Xun Realm Divine Dragon and a Dao Xun Realm Divine Dragon. General Wei said, "Your work is done." Wei Xian nodded, "It's done. Thank you, General Jing, for paying my regards to the king." General Wei hummed, "Then you can go." Wei Xian smiled, and he suddenly looked at Lin Moyu. "If you ever set foot on the Origin continent one day, little friend, you can come to the colorful sect to find me." As he said this, he threw a jade token from his waist to Lin Moyu. "This is my token. If you show this token to the colorful sect, you can see me." After saying that, he turned around and left without waiting for Lin Moyu to react. When he arrived, he was very powerful, but when he left, he was silent. General Wei watched Wei Xian go away, took a deep look at Lin Moyu, and then turned and left. It was only then that Shui Ji Tianzuan breathed a sigh of relief. "My dear, I scared the old turtle to death. It's so scary. I have to drink some wine to suppress my memory." Lin Moyu smiled slightly and took out a jar of wine for him. Shui Ji Tianzuan took it happily and said, "Young man, let's go to the road." Lin Moyu asked, "He came here this time just for the fragrant purple robe. How did the heavenly lord die?" Shui Ji Tianzuan took a big sip of wine and whispered, "What else? I guess the sect leader of the Luozi sect paid a lot of money to get the Taoist master of the Chizai sect to take action. It's a pity that he got nothing." As he spoke, he tilted his head and looked at Lin Moyu, then winked at him and looked at the jade token in Lin Moyu's hand. Lin Moyu understood instantly and nodded slightly. Lin Moyu said, "Now that they know that the purple-robed heavenly lord was killed by the Dragon Clan, how will they react?" Shui Ji Tianzuan made a sound. "How can we react? If we just leave it alone, how can we go to the Dragon Clan to seek revenge? Those guys died in vain." Lin Moyu asked, "Is my tribe very fishy?" Shui Ji Tianzuan said, "Of course you are strong. How can you be the referee if you are not strong? I don't know how those guys could provoke the Dragon Clan. The Dragon Clan generally rarely takes action." Lin Moyu knows the reason very well, but he will not say that this is a secret between him, Tianlong, and Antares. He held the jade token and continued to ask, "Senior Shueiji, can you tell me what the Dragon Clan is like?" Shueiji Tianzuan chuckled, "Since you asked sincerely, I will tell you with great mercy." In the distance, the conversation between Lin Wu and Kei Shang Tianzuan kept ringing in Wei Yuan's ears. It can be heard from their conversation that the two of them did not know about the death of purple-robed Tianzuan. Moreover, Lin Moyu also knew nothing about the Dragon Clan, as if he had never seen it before. Gradually, his last trace of doubt was wiped away, and he sped up and left Yuan Hai. Shueiji Tianzuan casually talked about some things about the Dragon Clan, but in fact he didn't know much. "I only know that in the Jihai world, as long as you reach the 6th level, the Dragon Clan will come. In every 6th level world, there will be Dragon Clan members stationed in it. They are like witnesses and referees in the world war. However, the Dragon Clan will not directly intervene in the world war unless someone provokes them first and takes action against them." When Dao Xun Gang Weishin saw that it was the Dragon Clan who killed the purple-robed Tianzuan, his first reaction was that the purple-robed Tianzuan had provoked the Dragon Clan himself. The Dragon Clan is extremely powerful, and the purple-robed Tianzuan and the others died in vain, and no one will seek justice for them. After chatting for a while, Shang Tianzuan gave Lin Moyu another look. Lin Moyu nodded slightly and put away the jade token. He first placed the jade token in the ancient containment talisman, and then reinforced the ancient containment talisman. After strengthening the inner and outer 3 layers, he placed it in the ancient box. Finally, put the ancient box in your own storage space. After opening the eyes of the soul and confirming that the jade tablet can no longer have any contact with the outside world, he can truly relax. Shueiji Tianzuan said, "No one of you is a human being, so be careful when dealing with them." Lin Moyu naturally understood. It seems that Taoist Master Wei Guan is interested in my talent. Otherwise? Shueiji Tianzuan tilted his head. "You are using your supreme power to counterattack Tianzuan. No matter what magic weapon you have, it is a fact. With a combat power like yours, no matter which force sees it, there are only 2 results. Either make you one of our own, or get rid of you." Lin Moyu understands this truth. His combat power is indeed a bit unbelievable. Even if he says that he used a trump card to save his life, will others believe him? Shueiji Tianzuan said, "So you should understand that Dao Zun Wei Xian gave you the jade token, firstly, to confirm for the last time whether the death of Purple Robe Tianzuan has anything to do with us. He must have heard all of our conversation just now. The second is to win you over. If you really want to join the colorful sect in the future, it's not impossible. After all, with him here, most people won't dare to offend you. It can be regarded as a talisman." 11. As for the third one, Lin Moyu took over what Shueiji Tianzuan said. "The third reason is to guard against me. I guess he can determine my location through the jade tablet. If one day I go to the origin continent but don't go to Chizai sect to find him, I guess he will come and kill me immediately." 1. So this is both a talisman and a reminder. Shueiji Tianzuan laughed loudly. "That's the reason for being smart. So you have to think clearly about how to use this talisman. But as long as you don't step into the origin continent for a day, he can't do anything to you." Lin Moyu nodded slightly. "I'll have to go sooner or later, and he may not be able to find me. I will go to origin continent sooner or later." After seeing the power of Dao Zun, Lin Moyu already yearned for the origin continent. As for when to go, he can choose by himself. Perhaps by the time he steps into the origin continent, he will already be a Taoist master. Then there is nothing to fear. The incident with Daozuan Wei Xian was like an episode, and Lin Moyu once again devoted himself to the great cause of hunting. This time passed smoothly without any surprises. Except for Shueiji Tianzuan, who would come over from time to time and ask Lin Moyu for a drink, Moyu's hunting of Daya went smoothly. Finally, 400 days later, Lin Moyu accumulated the first material. There are 522 first-order origins, 48 second-order origins, and 7 third-order origins. Added together, they are exactly the materials needed to fuse the 7th-order origin. Lin Moyu returns to the big world and opens the world of rules. Integrating the origin, the first step is to refine the origin and eliminate the waste while retaining the essence. This step requires dragon soul crystals. The 10-color dragon soul crystals are too amazing. Tianlong repeatedly warned that the lottery dragon soul crystals must not be leaked. So Lin Moyu chose the big world and refined it in the world of his own rules. And he will erase the time mark afterwards, leaving no trace. I guarantee that when Tao Zun comes, there will be no clues. As a large number of origin crystals float up and down in the world of rules, the colorful dragon soul crystals spit out dragon breath and refine the origin. The origin obtained from the boundary sea contains a large number of impurities and must be refined before it can be used. Each clan has its own refining method, but the dragon soul crystal of the dragon clan is recognized as the best choice. There are even some Taoists who will go to the Dragon Clan with high-level origins and pay a huge price to ask them to help remove the impurities in the origins. The business of the Dragon Clan is very prosperous and they have made a lot of profits. The situation on the Origin continent is far more complicated than Lin Moyu imagined. Not to mention the outside world, just within the human race, it was already like a mess. In Lin Moyu's opinion, it is far less united and beautiful than the human race in the big world. The 10-color dragon soul crystal is very efficient. The 10-color light flashes alternately in the dragon's breath, removing all impurities from the source without leaving any trace. The refined origin has shrunk by more than half, but has become extremely pure and more powerful. Lin Moyu used magic towards the source of the magic. Magic, infinite fusion. This technique has not been used for who knows how long. If anything needed to be fused before, it was all done by Infinite Fusion himself, and there was no need for Lin Moyu to take action. This time, Lin Moyu chose to do it himself and try this technique that he had not used for a long time. Among the many spells, the realm level of this spell has never changed, making it the most special. The Infinite Fusion spell star is also superior. No matter you are an original spell or a white star spell, you must listen to it. As the spell is cast, the Infinite Fusion spell star shines with light, shedding countless hazy auras. The mist enveloped the original crystal and began to fuse according to Lin Moyu's will. The first order origin crystals merge with each other, and every 3 crystals merge into one. After all the first order sources are integrated, the second order sources will begin to be integrated. Point 0. I saw with my own eyes that the number of source crystals was getting smaller and smaller, but the aura was getting stronger and stronger. Only half a day later, a bunch of origin crystals disappeared, leaving only 81 third-level origin crystals in front of Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu continued to cast spells and continue fusion. At this time, the Infinite Fusion spell star shines brightly, and a big pot suddenly appears in the world of rules. Lin Moyu was so blessed that he threw 3 third-level source crystals into the mouth of the pot and continued to perform the spell. The cauldron keeps roaring, and the original crystals inside are merging. Not long after, a brand new 4th-order origin crystal was fused. At this time, Infinite Fusion suddenly flew down and circled around Lin Moyu, expressing intimacy, but also conveyed another meaning, I'll come, I'll come. It seemed to want to show its presence. Lin Moyu smiled slightly and let it go. Infinite Fusion actively controls the cauldron and crystallizes the origin's fusion. One day later, Lin Moyu received 27 pieces of 4th-level origin. The 4th level is just the beginning, and it is far from the end. Summoning the Skeleton King originally integrated the 4th-level origin, but now it is far from meeting Lin Moyu's requirements. The fusion is still going on, and this big iron pot is playing a magical role. Soon the 27 4th-order origins were fused into 9 5th-order origins. Then the 9 5th-level origins turned into 3 6th-level origins. Now there is only one final fusion left. The Infinite Fusion did not continue. It was flying left and right in front of Lin Moyu's eyes, and at the same time, weak thoughts were transmitted. Lin Moyu understood the meaning of infinite fusion. You mean, if you continue to fuse, there will be a risk of failure? The swaying left and right of the magic star suddenly stopped and turned into an up and down vibration, as if it was nodding. It seemed very happy that Lin Moyu could understand what he meant. Lin Moyu thought for a while, since the infinite fusion will remind him, that is to say, the consequence of failure may be that all 3 6th-order origins will be damaged, and his 400 days of hard work will be in vain. If it is not fused, he can use 3 6th-order source crystals to strengthen the spell, but he will not be able to meet his expectations. The Skeleton King used the 4th-level source to strengthen before. If he uses the 6th-level source, he will definitely become stronger, but he is not sure whether he can break through to the Tianzuan realm. Every time the origin reaches a higher level, the gap is not small. Especially the 7th level and the 6th level. The 7th level belongs to the high-level category, while the 6th level is still the middle level. Any kind of classification is not arbitrary. High-level gods are completely different from mid-level gods. Lin Moyu 817 finally decided to take a gamble. The worst-case scenario is failure. It will take more than 100 days to reintegrate the 6th-order source crystal. If you want to fuse a piece of 6th-order origin, more than 100 days will be enough. If you can't get the 7th-order source, it's not too late to use the 6th-order source. Anyway, there's still enough time. Currently, the best technique to deal with the Demon Tiger realm is the Skeleton King. Lin Moyu gave instructions to Infinite Fusion, and Infinite Fusion moved in response, and the big iron pot once again sucked in 3 pieces of 6th-order origin. There was a constant roar, and the big iron pot kept roaring, as if something was being fried inside, and it was not quiet at all. Infinite Fusion continuously sprays a large amount of thick fog. The thick fog is like a fire used for cooking, adding firepower to the big iron pot. As time passed, the vibrations of the big iron pot became more intense, and more thick mist was sprayed out from the Infinite Fusion. This scene seems familiar, as if this guy was also this stupid when he forcibly fused the spells before. Very barbaric, with almost no skill. Suddenly, the lid of the iron pot opened. Lin Moyu thought that the fusion was over, but unexpectedly, the Infinite Fusion suddenly rushed in by himself. With a bang, the big iron pot was covered again, shaking less violently than before. Infinite Fusion goes out in person and continues to merge. Lin Moyu felt like she couldn't laugh or cry. This was completely forced. Is this how fusion works? The big iron pot was deformed, as if there was a strong force inside that was constantly colliding with the iron pot. Every time, a trace of the original power leaks out. The power of hundreds of source crystals gathered together, even just a trace, is enough to make people tremble. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes slightly and quickly retreated a distance. He also called out to Genie Lich and asked him to protect him. At the same time, World Tree is also prepared. If this iron pot explodes, it is estimated that most of his rule's world will be blown up. The power of the explosion of the source power will not be small, and the explosion of the 6th or 7th level source power is even more unimaginable. I don't know if the freshman talent is useful. I don't want to be killed by myself. Lin Moyu thought silently in his heart. Now he can only wait silently and resign himself to fate. Fortunately, the iron pot was strong enough. Although it was twisted and deformed by the impact, it recovered quickly and did not explode. After waiting for 10 days, the iron pot that was vibrating a second ago suddenly stopped and became extremely quiet. Lin Moyu's heart tightened. He knew that this might be the calm before the storm. Before the thought came to an end, there was a bang and the lid of the pot exploded. Also blown away along with the pot lid was a piece of origin crystal. This source crystal exudes an astonishing aura, flying towards the distance like a meteor. Then another stream of light rushed out of the pot, faster than the source crystal, catching up with it and knocking the source crystal back. The origin crystal did not fall into the pot, but suddenly turned around and flew over again. He wants to escape. Lin Moyu didn't even think about it. The world tree waved countless branches and intertwined them into a large net, netting the origin crystal in it. The origin crystals bumped left and right in the web woven by the world tree, and the branches of the world were constantly broken, but there were too many branches. Some were broken and more came. In the end, he was tightly entangled in the branches of the world and could not move. The struggle didn't stop, he was still resisting. The world tree stretched out more branches and grasped him firmly. The 7th level origin already has instincts. Could it be said that it is possible for the origin to give birth to spiritual intelligence? Lin Moyu thought in his heart, everything in origin continent speaks for itself. Cultivation requires the origin, refining magic weapons requires the origin, setting up formations requires the origin, and refining elixirs requires the origin. Everywhere needs its origin. This can explain that the number of origins on the origin continent should be amazing. With such an astonishing number, it is not impossible if there are some origins that give birth to spiritual wisdom. Infinite Fusion flew over and kept circling Lin Moyu, as if asking for credit. Lin Moyu reached out and patted Infinite Fusion. Thank you. Buzzing. The magic stars kept vibrating and buzzing, seeming to enjoy Lin Moyu's praise. After flying around Lin Moyu for a few more times, Shu Faxingchen flew back to his throne and looked down at the stars again. Lin Moyu reached into the big net and grasped the seventh order origin with great accuracy. The seventh order origin shook continuously, and huge forces surged in, constantly resisting. The power of resistance is very strong, and the seventh level origin corresponds to the Taoist realm. This power is far beyond Lin Moyu's imagination, and he almost couldn't catch it. Lin Moyu sneered, "If you don't obey me, I'll hit you." As he spoke, he raised the natural disaster scepter and lightly touched it on the seventh level source. As for whether the natural disaster scepter can destroy the seventh level source, Lin Moyu has no doubt at all. This thing is a weapon that scares the spirit of the River of Time to pee just looking at it. The origin of Tianjie is nothing. After being touched by the natural disaster scepter, Qibin Jiyuan suddenly became quiet. Lin Moyu seemed to have expected this. You know what's going on. The seventh level origin is a high-level origin that not even the big world has. Generally, only Dao Zun can access this level of origin. Countless deities who are fighting world wars in the World Sea just want to cultivate their own world to the seventh level and then collect the source. It is a pity that among so many people, how many can do it? It is not an exaggeration to say that there is no one in 10,000. The seventh level origin that can make Dao Zun fight and countless Tian Zun fight for his head, but he can get it so easily. 4.1 Everything is thanks to Infinite Fusion. This technique is so magical. Holding the seventh level source that had calmed down, he turned around and came to the summoning Skeleton King spell star and sent the source in. The magic stars suddenly bloomed with bright light, and powerful sources of power rushed out from the stars, but they were indeed enveloped in clusters of light. The fourth order origin that was previously integrated into it was replaced by the seventh order origin. As the master, Lin Moyu can clearly feel that the magic stars are rapidly becoming stronger. Lin Moyu returned to Yu Qing and Yu Zhu, took back all the Skeleton Kings outside, and waited for the sublimation of the spell to be completed before summoning again. The purple magic star became brighter and brighter, and golden threads began to appear on it. The golden threads surrounded the magic star, turning along the magic star like a ribbon. No more, no less, exactly 7 golden threads. Lin Moyu thinks, do these 7 golden threads mean the 7th level origin? Summon the Skeleton King. Original levels summon the Skeleton King by fusing the power of the fused skeleton. Summoning the Skeleton Queen will not cause the skeletons to disappear. When the Skeleton King exists, it can enhance the combat power of the other skeletons. The Skeleton King's spells can be shared with other skeletons. The more Skeleton Kings summoned at the same time, the stronger the Skeleton King's combat power will be. The maximum number of Skeleton Kings that can exist at the same time, 500. Form the world of White Bones rules, the rules of White Bones. The world will exist forever, shared by all Skeletors. Seeing the properties of the spell, Lin Moyu felt huge waves in his heart. After integrating into the 7th level origin, the spell attributes have undergone tremendous changes. There is no longer a need to calculate the power of how many skeletons are fused, but the upper limit is directly given to the number of summons, just like summoning a skeleton general. The number of summons doubled, directly reaching 500. Most importantly, these Skeleton Kings will rule the world. Skeleton King is a world without rules. The lack of rules means that Skeleton King's combat power is always lacking and he cannot use his original power. Now he has a shared world of bones rules, which also means that Skeleton King's combat power has been further enhanced. The strongest power of all Tianzuan comes from the world of rules, and the strength of the world of rules 28 depends on the origin. Lin Moyu tried to summon a brand new Skeleton King. The height of the new Skeleton King has been greatly reduced, only less than 100 meters. However, Lin Moyu knew that the Skeleton King's body shape could be changed at will, ranging from a minimum of 10 meters to a maximum of 1 million meters. and 100 meters is its strongest fighting stance, with speed, flexibility, and attack all reaching a perfect balance. The Skeleton King wears a thick, full-body battle armor. The armor is extremely exquisite, with flames burning continuously inside. The cloak on the back turns into a cloak of flame, which cannot be extinguished by water or blown away by the wind. The skeleton throne turned into a bone sword, which was extremely sharp. Yuju and Yuchingru felt pain on their skin just by looking at it. There are also flames flowing on the bone sword, which is somewhat similar to Lin Mohan's world-destroying sword. The Skeleton King stood there, a stream of coercion belonging to the Heavenly Lord exuded, and the sea around him became much quieter. The wind of the Boundary Sea and the water of the Boundary Sea seemed to be avoiding the Skeleton King. Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, Tianzuan. Once the Skeleton King reaches Tianzuan, the Demon Tiger Realm will not be a problem. If 500 Skeleton Kings of the Tianzuan Realm attack together, how can the Demon Tiger Realm stop them? Even if the Thunder Purple Pattern Tiger of the Intermediate Heavenly Lord takes action in person, he still has to think about it. Moreover, the greater the number of Skeleton Kings, the stronger their combat power. If 500 of them were to play at the same time, their combat power would at least be doubled, and even the middle-level Heavenly Lord would be numb. Lin Moyu checked the specific attributes of the Skeleton King. Skeleton King. Level, low-level Tianzuan. Spell, Bone-Killing God. Bone-Slaying God, lock on the target and attack, attacking the body and soul at the same time. The locked target cannot dodge, nor can it be defended with magic weapons. It can attack multiple targets. If there are less than 10 targets, the damage will not be reduced. It can be combined with other skeletons to form a combined attack, and the power will be further enhanced. The information about the world without rules disappeared, indicating that Skeleton King now has a world with rules. Try it. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and he ordered the Skeleton Dynasty to perform the Bone-Killing God towards the Boundary Sea 10,000 meters away. There was nothing there. Lin Moyu just wanted to see how powerful it was. Technique, Bone-Killing God. The Skeleton King swung his sword in response. The moment he swung his sword, a world of rules rose up behind him. In the world of rules, there are bones, and the bones keep rolling, as if something is coming out of it. This is the world of bones evolved from the rules of bones. It can attack the soul and cannot defend itself. It is also the best match with Skeleton King, making up for Skeleton King's lack of soul attack. The sword light lit up 10,000 meters away, exploding a column of water. The water column soars tens of thousands of meters into the sky, a large area of water in the Boundary Sea sinks, and the explosive force spreads wantonly in the sea area of tens of thousands of meters in radius. Very good. Lin Moyu was very satisfied with the result, which was much better than before. It can be seen from this attack alone that the attack power has increased many times. There is indeed a big difference between the low-level Heavenly Lord and the Peak Supreme Lord. What are you doing? Shueiji Tianzuan's voice suddenly sounded. Smelling like alcohol, he emerged from the sea and looked at Lin Moyu with crooked eyes, and occasionally looked at the Skeleton King. Naturally, I have seen the Skeleton King before, but the Skeleton King in front of me is different. Shueiji Tianzuan reacted, integrated into the origin. Lin Moyu nodded. Shueiji Tianzuan hummed, it looks pretty good, as if he has reached the realm of Tianzuan. Lin Moyu admitted honestly, I just arrived at the lower level of heaven. Shueiji Tianzuan said, although the low-level Tianzuan is much worse than the middle-level Tianzuan, if the number is enough, it can also give the middle-level Tianzuan a headache. I remember that you had a lot of this stuff. Lin Moyu hummed, yes, there are 500. Shueiji Tianzuan knew that there were many Skeleton Kings, but he did not expect there to be so many. He couldn't help but be stunned for a moment, then smiled bitterly, the Demon Tiger Realm is over. Lin Moyu was not so optimistic. What if the Demon Tiger Realm has a trump card? Shueiji Tianzuan snorted, are you such a pervert? There are 500 low-level Tianzuan. Unless the high-level Tianzuan takes action, or there are several middle-level Tianzuan, how can you let the Demon Tiger Realm stop you? What he said was the truth. It had been quite a while since the Demon Tiger Realm entered his jurisdiction. Shueiji Tianzuan still knew how much strength there was in the Demon Tiger Realm. The Tianzuan inside often comes out to search for treasures and hunt for the origin in the Boundary Sea. There are only a few people coming and going. If 500 skeleton kings were released there, they would be frightened to death. Shueiji Tianzuan said, I was worried about your boy before, but now it seems that my worries are unnecessary. Come on, I won't care about you anymore. As he said that, he turned to look at Yu Qingqing and Yu Zhu. You two girls, do you have any wine? Yu Qingru 223 smiled brightly. Brother Shueiji has already spoken, how could he not? After saying that, she took out a jar of wine and personally delivered it to Shueiji Tianzuan. Shueiji Tianzuan smiled and said, it's better to have two girls, unlike this brat who is getting more and more stingy. Lin Moyu smiled bitterly but did not refute. Mixed. During this period of time, the two of them and Shueiji Tianzuan sometimes ran out of drinks. Shueiji Tianzuan was too embarrassed to always ask Lin Moyu for it, so he would shamelessly ask them for it. But correspondingly, Shueiji Tianzuan will also give the source crystal to the two of them, saying it is an exchange. Gradually, we became familiar with each other. Shueiji Tianzun would sometimes tell them some cultivation matters and some stories from the Jiahai. Those stories were very novel and interesting. The story is all-encompassing, all happening in the origin continent and the Boundary Sea. Some are human race, some are demon race, there are all kinds. Yu Qing and Yu Zhu listened to the story, then wrote it down, and told Lin Moyu when they had the chance. From these stories, a lot of information about the origin continent can actually be analyzed. You guys talk, I'm going hunting. Lin Moyu still left 50 skeleton kings behind, and rushed into the Boundary Sea, directly to the 100,000-meter area, to start a new round of hunting. Shueiji Tianzuan got drunk again after a while, and with the smell of alcohol, he started telling stories one after another. Every time his story was novel and never repeated, Yu Qing and Yu Zhu listened carefully and were very well behaved. With the Skeleton King in the Tianzuan realm, Lin Moyu's hunting efficiency has improved a lot. 300 days later, Lin Moyu gathered the materials needed for the second 7th level source. At this time, there are still 170 days before the arrival of the Demon Tiger Realm. For the big world, 170 days is more than 4,000 years. 20,000 years have passed in the big world since we learned about the Demon Tiger Realm. Lin Moyu also went back several times during this period and found that the enthusiasm for cultivation in the big world was very high. He didn't know how Saint Hao and the others dealt with it. But these are not important. Since the big world was completely restored, the invisible transportation has affected every human race. Geniuses are constantly emerging in the human race, and the number of strong people is increasing day by day. When he went back last time, there were several more supreme beings in the human race. The former Fu Xingzuan and Killing Xingzuan have now become the Supreme Lord. What surprised Lin Moyu the most was that Mrs. Yu also became the Supreme. The number of powerful people under the Supreme has increased sharply. Nowadays, there are more than 100 saints in the human race, and there are thousands more in the other side. Many rising stars have a solid foundation. Once they become supreme, they will go further than House Supreme and others. It's a pity that more than 20,000 years is too short, and it is not enough to give birth to a powerful person in the Tianzuan realm. Lin Moyu knew very well that the world, which was recovering from serious injuries, was just like the cultivators, laying the foundation at this moment. As the base of geniuses increases, eventually a more top genius will rise to the top, break through to the supreme level, and eventually become a deity. If the world is given another few 100,000 years, Lin Moyu believes that Heavenly Lord will definitely appear in it. However, all the worlds in the Boundary Sea are watching eagerly and will not give the big world a chance to recover. They have long since crashed into the big world. The fighting world is just an appetizer, and the monster and tiger world is not even the main course. There will be more worlds coming in the future. Lin Moyu will let them know that the big world is not some sweet pastry, but a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. If you want to come and take a bite, your teeth will be broken. In the rules world, Lin CG is integrating the second 7th level origin. Infinite Fusion once again used a large iron pot, cooking a pile of origin crystals over a high fire like cooking. With the Skeleton King's lessons learned, Lin Moyu's eyesight wandered, and he could no longer look down on the 6th level origin. Even if there was a certain chance of failure, he still decided to bet on the 7th level origin. According to him, the whole thing needs to be rectified. The big iron pot kept deforming, and the same scene as last time appeared again. Lin Moyu had a feeling that the current fusion to the 7th level should be the limit, and the 8th level origin should not be able to be fused. This big iron pot came from an iron block. This iron block was a bit magical, and Lin Moyu never saw the second one afterwards. There are very few things that can be infinitely integrated, and Lin Moyu doesn't know what it needs. It seems that it doesn't even look down on the origin crystal. Lin Moyu didn't know what it needed, but Lin Moyu knew very well that it also needed to grow. If you want to fuse with higher level origins, you have to find a way to improve infinite fusion. But how can we improve it? What exactly is needed? Lin Moyu couldn't figure it out for a while. Infinite fusion was the most magical and mysterious existence among all his spells. Even Lin Moyu couldn't be completely sure about the law of infinite fusion. All we can say is that it seems to be the legendary law of chaos. While Lin Moyu was thinking, the lid of the pot exploded, and a piece of 7th order origin was knocked out from inside. The same scene as last time was played out again. Infinite fusion caught up with the 7th order origin and beat it back like a rubber ball. Lin Moyu took action directly this time, grabbed the 7th level source, and then struck it with the Ching Ching scepter. With a soft sound, the 7th order origin became quiet on the spot and no longer resisted. Infinite fusion circled around Lin Moyu, and then stopped next to the natural disaster scepter, looking left and right, as if sizing up the natural disaster scepter. Finally, it flew over and lightly touched the natural disaster scepter, making a crisp sound. Lin Moyu's eyes showed surprise. Infinite fusion didn't seem to be afraid of the natural disaster scepter. They are on the same level. Lin Moyu was slightly shocked and realized this possibility. After touching the scepter of natural disaster a few times, Infinite Fusion felt that this big pimple was not interesting and continued to be a superior emperor. Lin Moyu came to the magic star with the 7th level source in hand. He had already thought about who to use this 7th level source. The first piece was given to the Skeleton King, so that the Skeleton King could be promoted from the Pinnacle Supreme to the low-level Heavenly Lord. However, the foundation of Skeleton King refers to the Lightning General. The foundation of the Undead Army is also the Skeleton God General. The strength of the Skeleton God General is related to the other two forces of combat, so improving the Skeleton God General will yield the highest benefits. Considered from another aspect, there is already a Skeleton King base. Even if the Skeleton God's improvement is not satisfactory, the image will not have much impact. Lin Moyu sent the 7th order origin into the magic star, and the magic star suddenly bloomed with bright light. A stream of powerful force spurted out from the magic stars, and the magic stars expanded rapidly, almost instantly becoming more than 10 times larger than before. It itself is only a white star, and has not even reached the neutron star. Now that it has obtained the 7th level origin, all of a sudden, its degree of change will naturally be extremely dramatic. Lin Moyu retreated a distance and watched the magic stars evolve. He originally tried to inject some virtual power into the magic stars, but after thinking about it, he gave up. Not every spell is suitable for injecting virtual power, and my control of virtual power is still very weak, far worse. Lin Moyu said to himself, let's do it step by step. Boom! In the bright light of the magic star, it burst open. After breaking and then standing up, a wisp of purple light shot out from the explosion. The purple light expanded rapidly and occupied a large space. A purple magic star flew out of the explosion with a noble aura. Summoning the skeleton god will be successfully promoted to the original level of magic, and the evolution does not end here. Then golden threads emerged from the magic star. A total of 7 golden threads appeared, like 7 beautiful ties, rotating around the magic star. Lin Moyu communicated with the stars, with a little shock on his face. You can summon the skeleton god general again. This is the first piece of information passed down from the magic stars. After being promoted to the origin level, regardless of whether other things have changed or not, the number of summons has changed first. Summon the skeleton god general, original level. The magic star will create a world of bones and rules. The world of bones and rules will exist forever. On weekdays, Zhao Hao Zhao, the skeleton god, will hibernate in the world of rules, and can come to the world when needed. The power of the rule world is shared by all skeleton god generals. The more skeleton god generals there are, the more powerful the rule world will be. The skeleton god general has extremely strong combat power and is the main battle force of the undead army. The maximum number it can have is 20 billion. Looking at the information, Lin Moyu was speechless for a while. After integrating into the 7th Order origin, the exponential Electra General also has a world of rules. The number has increased to 20 billion, 7.5 billion more than the previous 12.5 billion. Unfortunately, the extra 7.5 billion did not affect the number of skeleton kings. There are still 500 skeleton kings, and there seems to be no quantitative relationship between them. The most important thing in a person's life is contentment. You can't just want it and want it again and again. Lin Moyu chuckled, laughing at himself for being too greedy. The first skeleton god general is summoned, and the spells are activated in conjunction. The next moment, skeleton god generals begin to appear continuously. The summoning is carried out in the world of rules, but when summoned, the gods will accompany you in the small world. Skeleton god general. Level, Peak Supreme. Ability, Bone Sword Chi. The White Bone Sword Chi contains the power of the White Bone Rule, and at the same time carries the law of immortality. It can deal a double blow to the target's body and soul, and corrode the target's defense. 20 billion skeleton generals, 20 billion peak supremes. Lin Moyu felt that he was taking the Demon Tiger realm too seriously. Once this number is adjusted to where it is, the thunder-like purple-striped tiger is no longer a headache, but how to escape and what posture to use to measure it. Although the Peak Supreme is far inferior to Tianzuan, even tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands or millions of Peak Supremes cannot defeat Tianzuan. But Lin Moyu's money here is not hundreds of thousands, nor millions, but 20 billion. The order of magnitude will increase by thousands of times. Even if they stand in line and let Tianzuan come and kill them, they will probably be killed until they are weak. Lin Moyu could definitely stage a scene where ants kill an elephant. Lin Moyu was very satisfied with the changes in the Skeleton God General. It was already more powerful than the Death Dragon Knight. The undead army composed of Skeleton God Generals will become stronger in combat power. The 50 undead commanders who led them have also reached the heavenly realm. Affected by the Skeleton God General, the number of Skeleton Kings has not increased, but their combat power has increased again. Lin Moyu felt that the Skeleton King's combat power had at least doubled compared to before. Even among the low-level gods, 763 was not considered weak. The summons is still going on, and the 7.5 billion skeleton generals cannot be replenished in an instant. Lin Moyu thought in his mind, this battle should be stable, but just in case, we need to prepare something more. In the original plan, the 2 7th-level origins were the most important part, and now they have been completed. The next step is a few small things. Lin Moyu plans to fuse a few 4th-order sources and a few spells to better cope with the upcoming battle. Lin Moyu carried out the plan according to the plan. After reaching the peak of the Supreme Skeleton God General, in this sea area, it was like entering an uninhabited land, and his efficiency increased again. Now I just worry about not having enough fish, instead of worrying about not being able to catch them. Lin Moyu discovered that after sublimating the original spell, the skeleton god's induction with him expanded to 300,000 meters. This also means that the scope of the sea area he took photos of was expanded to 600,000 meters. If he stood in the sea at a depth of 300,000 meters, the skeleton god would even be able to enter an area with a depth of 600,000 meters. More than 500,000 meters is a dangerous area that even Tianzuan dare not enter. If he wants to go, he can already use the skeleton god general to go there. Shueiji Tianzuan discovered the changes in the skeleton god general. He came to Lin Moyu with complicated eyes. After merging the origin of your spells, are all 10 of them so abnormal? Lin Moyu chuckled. It was naturally impossible for him to tell Shueiji Tianzuan that he was fused with the 7th order origin. Seeing that Lin Moyu was silent, Shueiji Tianzuan sighed again, a moment of silence for the demon tiger realm. When do you plan to open the banquet? Banquet open? Lin Moyu understood instantly and threw out a jar of wine to Shueiji Tianzuan. The so-called banquet means drinking. Shueiji Tianzuan praised, the boy is getting better and better. Lin Moyu said, I asked people in the world to keep the wine before, but it has been a long time now. I should have kept it and will give it to you by then. Shueiji Tianzuan's eyes burst into light. Really? Lin Moyu smiled and said, how can I beat you? Shueiji Tianzuan laughed loudly, not bad, not bad, I will help you again and again. Since coming to Jiehai world, Shueiji Tianzuan has really helped me a lot to understand this world. It's just fine wine, nothing at all. Shueiji Tianzuan drank wine and said, let me tell you something. After the demon tiger realm collides with you, your battle will definitely attract a lot of people's attention. They want to use this battle to see the strength of the demon tiger realm before deciding whether to collide with the demon tiger realm. So, you should understand what I mean. How could Lin Moyu not understand? No one thought he could win. After all, there is a middle-level heavenly lord behind the demon tiger realm, and there are also several low-level heavenly lords in the world. And in the big world, there is nothing. Even if it has been repaired now, there is not enough time to give birth to Tianzuan. In this world war, in their eyes, the demon tiger realm will win. After the demon tiger realm wins, it will swallow up the big world and will inevitably become stronger. The masters of the other worlds naturally want to see the true strength of the Jeg world before considering whether they want to collide with the Jeg world. If the demon tiger realm is too strong, they will change the direction of their world and leave far away. There is no master behind the big world, and it cannot change its direction. It can only wait to be taken over by other worlds. In this case, Lin Moyu had to consider how to defeat the demon tiger realm. Should they be easily beaten completely, or should they be beaten harder and form an evenly matched situation? Even if you win in the end, you still have to work hard, and it is best to lose both sides. In this way, other worlds will definitely take the opportunity to come and take advantage. Shueiji Tianzuan provided this information and let Lin Moyu decide what to do. He used the most straightforward gesture to kill the demon tiger world forcefully, and then told the whole world not to make any plans of his own. Or, let's make it look like both sides suffer, and trick other worlds into coming. Lin Moyu asked, if both the demon tiger world and I suffer, how long will it take for the next world to come? Shueiji Tianzuan smiled and said, soon, it won't take 10 days. At that time, your world was hit hard and was noticed by many worlds. Many worlds changed their direction and came here. The closest one is Dojie, and other worlds are relatively far away. There are about 4 worlds that are about the same distance from the demon tiger realm. That is to say, after the demon tiger realm collides with you, in the next 100 days, the world will collide with each other. So you have to think carefully, what are you going to do? Is it even necessary to think about it? Lin Moyu smiled slightly. I want to build a network and collect them all, but I'm afraid I won't be able to deceive them. These Tianzuan are all human beings, and they are all very smart. Indeed, Tianzuan's observation ability is extremely powerful. It's very difficult to deceive them. Shuiji Tianzuan took a big sip of wine and laughed, looking a bit wretched. Lin Moyu understood immediately. If you have any idea, just say so. I just want wine. I have already agreed before and opened up the supply. Shuiji Tianzuan smiled evilly for a while. I have a treasure here, a treasure specially used in the World War. Use it, you can deceive those guys. Shuiji Tianzuan took out what he called a treasure, which looked like a cloud. The clouds and mist can be described in many ways, and are ever-changing, making it difficult for people to see clearly. Shuiji Tianzuan said, this fog of the world can cover an area, making it difficult for outsiders to see what's going on in the fog. The intensity of the mist can be controlled freely, and the corresponding breath can also be simulated. For example, if you want to make the aura of Tianzuan realm appear in the mist, he can do it, and he can even create phantoms. Also, once you enter the scope of the fog of the world, you can no longer change the direction of the world. You can think of it yourself as to how to use it. Lin Moyu's eyes were filled with joy. With this thing, he could indeed deceive others. Shuiji Tianzuan handed the mist of the world to Lin Moyu and warned, this thing is very rare. I borrowed it after selling a lot of favors. Don't break it. You have to return it to me when the time comes. After Shuiji Tianzuan's explanation, Lin Moyu realized that there were corresponding treasures in the World War. This type of treasure is very special and is called the treasure of the world. There are only two ways to obtain it. One of them comes from the same place as the origin realm. All the worlds of the Boundary Sea first evolved from the origin world. In the mysterious place where you get the origin world, you can also get a treasure that can be used to fight the World War. The other type is refined by the powerful Dao Zun. The materials required for refining are from worlds that have failed in the World War. There are many types of treasures with different functions. The fog of the world is one of them, and can have a disorienting effect. Shuiji Tianzuan didn't know exactly how many kinds of treasures there were, so he told what he knew. For example, there is a treasure that can directly weaken the origin of the hostile world, which is equivalent to weakening the combat power of the hostile world. There is also a treasure that can slow down the flow of time in a hostile world. The original flow rate ratio between the Boundary Sea and the Boundary Sea world is 10,000 times. He can change it thousands of times. In this way, his own world will have enough time to develop, while the development of the other party's world will be greatly weakened. There is another way that allows the two worlds to directly collide. No matter whether there is a strong person inside, it will directly form a collision at the original level. If the previous Dojie and the big world clashed at the original level, there is a high probability that the Dojie would not be able to compare with the big world. It will be swallowed directly at the original level. No matter how many powerful people there are in the fighting world, it will be useless. Even the heavenly lord outside the realm cannot interfere with this collision. There are many treasures with various functions, and Shuiji Tianzuan only knows some of them. The more Lin Moyu heard it, the more amazing it became that there was such a thing in the World War. He also thought that the World War was a pure competition of strength. Shuiji Tianzuan said, now you know, those guys with extremely profound backgrounds may have such treasures, so the World War is not as simple as you think. I borrowed this world fog from someone. Please don't damage it, otherwise you won't be able to pay for it. Lin Moyu smiled and said, don't worry, it won't be broken. He already has a complete set of combat methods in his mind. This time, no one from the world who wants to come over to take advantage of the situation can even think of running away. Shuiji Tianzuan warned again, remember, you still owe Lao Turtle a lot of wine, so you are not allowed to lose. Lin Moyu was full of confidence at this moment, can't lose. Time passed day by day, and Lin Moyu continued to collect the origin crystals. When there were still 50 days before the Demon Tiger realm, Lin Moyu saw that world from a distance. That world is only 1/3 of the size of the big world, and is much larger than the former Dojie. The larger the world is, the stronger its origin, the larger the internal space, and the greater the number of strong people. Like the Great World, half of the monster tiger realm sank into the realm sea, indicating that it possesses a heavenly lord. Lin Moyu vaguely seemed to hear the roar of tigers. The demon tiger world exuded a powerful aura. It was not as neutral and peaceful as the big world, but full of uniqueness. This feeling comes from the origin of the world, which shows that this world is full of predatory nature, like wild beasts, very barbaric. Immediately afterwards, Lin Moyu saw a person above the demon tiger realm. He was wearing a huge beast robe and stared at Lin Moyu with unkind eyes, his eyes full of contempt. He looked like a tiger, with purple hair all over his body, and a faint thunder light wrapped around his body. On his forehead, there is a huge royal pattern. Thunder Purple Tiger. This was the first time Lin Moyu saw the demon clan, and he couldn't help but take a second look. At the same time that Lin Moyu saw the other party, the Thunder Light Purple Striped Tiger also saw Lin Moyu. Seeing that Lin Moyu was just an intermediate supreme, his eyes were filled with contempt. This world is indeed the same as when I first saw it. It has been severely damaged. Even if there is still some hidden power, it is no longer much stronger. Some time ago, he also knew about the collision between the big world and the fighting world. However, he didn't know the specific process, he only knew that Dojia lost. He guessed that there should be some heritage left in the big world. After all, it was such a powerful world. If the Dojia wanted the ant to swallow the elephant, how could it be so easy? In his eyes, the Dojia was nothing at all. A Jiahai world that doesn't even have a Tianzuan is nothing but garbage. He grew up from garbage and deeply understands the difference. If the big world hadn't been damaged, he would never have dared to come and touch it. The big world 20,000 years ago was extremely powerful and could be called the overlord of this water area and could completely crush them. He saw it from a distance and had no time to hide. But even if it is damaged, in his opinion, it is not something rubbish like Dojia can touch. This world belongs to me. Lei Guanzi. There was a cruel tone in Tiger's voice, and he already regarded the big world as his own. In today's big world, there is no heavenly lord, no master, and it is impossible to change the direction. It's as if the other person's fate has been determined. As for Lin Moyu, he had completely ignored him. He was just a middle-level supreme being, nothing at all. Suddenly, a cloud of mist rose from the big world and enveloped the nearby sea. In the mist, there was a faint aura of heavenly lord coming out, and there seemed to be many heavenly lords inside. The thunder-colored purple-striped tiger sneered, "The foundation is indeed profound, and even the treasures of the world are there, but you just want to deceive me with just this, it's just a dream." Looking at the sea shrouded in fog, the thunder-purple striped tiger showed a ferocious smile. He would not be confused by the fog at all. In addition to the demon tiger world, there are 3 other worlds that are approaching quickly. They have different directions. They are further away from the demon tiger realm. The 3 worlds are not similar to the demon tiger realm. They are all heading towards the big world. Moreover, behind the world, there are masters. They are all mid-level gods. They are from the same human race and they all know each other. They saw the mist and felt the aura of Tianzuan realm coming from the mist, and they all looked puzzled. But seeing the demon tiger realm still crashing into it with great momentum, they seemed to realize something. All 3 of them felt that the big world was playing tricks on them. Okay, let's take advantage of this time to put an end to each other and see whose world is stronger. Indeed, that world was once so powerful that we couldn't avoid it. Let's end it this time. Is the master of that world really dead? He is probably dead. You are afraid that he is not dead, but has been promoted to Taoist master and will come back to settle accounts with us, right? Then don't worry. If that's the case, with Dao Zun's structure, he would have looked down on the world of Boundary Sea for a long time, and may never return to Boundary Sea. It must be dead, otherwise it wouldn't have been so damaged back then. The 3 heavenly lords were discussing. They had been here for many years, and they had met all the masters of the big world. That master was extremely powerful, and they could only stay away from him at that time. Unexpectedly, as time passed, everything changed in an unimaginable direction. The relationship between the three heavenly lords seems to be quite harmonious, and the world war is true, but they have no intention of fighting to the death. Gradually, the purple-striped tiger with thunder and light rushed into the thick fog with his world of Boundary Sea and disappeared. The three of them did not stop, and continued to move forward while controlling the world. They have decided that the big world is just making up mysteries. Outside the big world, and Lin Moyu's rule world, Lin Moyu began to integrate magic again. At this time, there were still 10 days before the two worlds collided, and Lin Moyu had only refined 3 5th-level essences. The 5th-level origin is already a rare good thing in the eyes of most heavenly lords. But in Lin Moyu's eyes, it was too ordinary. Having tasted the taste of the 7th-level origin, he would definitely have despised the 5th-level origin if not for the lack of time. With 3 pieces of 5th-level origin, Lin Moyu had long thought of integrating 3 techniques with it. They are Undead, Damage Transfer, and Skeleton Hell. Undead and Damage Transfer have completely lost their role in the World Sea. Once they are integrated into the origin and can continue to play a role, it will be quite terrifying to increase the combat power of the entire Undead army. Originally, the skeleton god generals were already powerful enough, but how terrifying would it be if each one had to be killed several times before killing them? The same is true for damage transfer. With the existence of 097, one's own safety is guaranteed. If you want to kill yourself, it will be impossible unless all the undead army is dead. Although most world wars will not occur outside the world, the opponent has the existence of an intermediate heavenly lord. If the thunder purple striped tiger is shameless and launches an attack from outside the world, he still has to be on guard. With the damage transfer, Lin Moyu has the confidence to face him no matter inside or outside the world. The skeleton hell, today's skeleton hell, is still in the realm of the saint, still one step away from being half-stepped to the supreme. After entering the Boundary Sea, Lin Moyu also tried to use the Bone Hell. Unfortunately, the Bone Hell is also restricted by the rules of the Boundary Sea, and it is difficult for it to exert its powerful power in the Boundary Sea. If it is integrated into the origin, it can naturally make the skeleton land. Hell adapts to the World Sea, but even if the 2 previous 7th-level origins are given to Bone Hell, at most it will only allow Bone Hell to rise to a high-level supreme level. Unable to form high-end combat power, Lin Moyu put the sublimation of the Bone Hell to the end. Now he only hopes that the Skeleton Hell can be successfully promoted to the Supreme Realm after merging with the 5th-level origin. Then go to the Demon Tiger Realm, kill everyone, and use the living resources in the Demon Tiger Realm to complete your self-sublimation. 3 5th-level origins were sent into different magic stars. The magic stars expand rapidly, and the powerful source power sweeps across the world of rules. After experiencing several origin fusions, Lin Moyu has long been accustomed to it. The magic stars are absorbing the original power, which comes from the Boundary Sea and the original continent, and contains the rules of the original continent. The magic can continue to function in the Boundary Sea by integrating this original power. Boom, boom, boom. There were 3 explosions in a row, and purple light swept across the sky. 3 purple magic stars emerged at the same time. After the fusion was completed, the magic stars were elevated to the original level. Compared with the 7th-order source fusion magic stars, the purple of the 3 in front of me is much lighter. Moreover, there is no gold thread wrapped around them, and they do not look so noble. This is the difference between high-level origins and mid-level origins. I have wronged you first, and I will use the 7th-level source for you in the future. Lin Moyu thought in his heart while communicating with the stars. The spell information after promotion is transmitted immediately. Undead, original level members of the undead army will not really die after receiving a fatal attack. They can choose to be resurrected in place or return to the magic white star according to the owner's will. Each member has 6 chances to be reborn within 60 seconds. The undead have not changed much. The number of resurrections has been weakened from 7 to 6, but the cooldown time has been changed from 80 seconds to 60 seconds. I can't say which one is better, but this is the original continent. With different rules, there will always be some changes. Lin Moyu was not too eager for this and was already quite satisfied. As long as the undead spiritual energy works in the Realm C, the cooldown time and the number of rebirths are actually not that important. His attention fell on another spell, Damage Transfer. Original level. All damage suffered by himself will be weakened 5 times, and then borne by the summoned object. There is no change, neither weakening nor strengthening, just sublimation from White Star level to Source level, which seems to be a lonely upgrade. But Lin Moyu knew very well that this technique could already work in the Boundary Sea, and that was enough. With it, your security is greatly increased. Not only does the defense increase 5 times, but it can also transfer damage to the undead army. The 2 spells cooperate with each other. If you stand and let Tianzuan kill you, you will probably not be easily killed. Then comes the final Skeleton Hell. At this moment, the Skeleton Hell has also been promoted to the original level, but it seems to be bigger than the undead and damage transfer. Lin Moyu guessed that this might be related to his previous Neutron Star spell, which was a higher level in itself. In the future, when I master the power of virtuality and make each technique combine virtuality and reality, maybe everyone will be the same. The Bone Hell is a very special one among all spells. Its speciality and infinite fusion are comparable to each other. Its promotion is completely different from other techniques. Lin Moyu's master's level has nothing to do with it. The other magic stars were all high up, but he was the only one who came directly to the bottom of the world of rules. Below it is the Bone Hell, which always occupies the bottom of the regular world, about 1/5 of the area. Once upon a time, the Bone Hell was integrated with an origin crystal, which was given by Tianlong. That source crystal was only of the 1st level, and it failed to sublimate the Skeleton Hell to the source level spell. It only allowed it to break through the realm and reach the Saint Realm. This time, it finally broke through to the origin level. In the Skeleton Hell, a river of hellfire runs from end to end, rolling endlessly. The evil spirits of hell are roaring, and 10 fireballs hang above the hell like the scorching sun, constantly spraying down flames. Lin Moyu could feel that the Skeleton Hell at this moment was stronger than before, and the evil spirits in it had reached the supreme state. Although it is only a low-level supreme, the supreme is the supreme, much stronger than the Holy Lord. Not only the evil spirits from hell, but also the damage caused by the fire has reached the supreme level. The flowers on the other side are blooming even more coquettishly, blooming with a strange blue light. The quantity has also changed, directly increasing from 100 billion to 500 billion. The range also changed from 3 light years to 10 light years. It seems that the increase is very large. The 500 billion hell evil spirits in the Supreme Realm are enough to swallow up the entire Demon Tiger Realm. But Lin Moyu knew very well that this range and quantity were the result of the rules of the big world. If the Skeleton Hell is placed in the Boundary Sea, it will be affected by the Boundary Sea, and both its scope and quantity will be drastically reduced. He had experience once, when he released the Hell of Bones in the Realm Sea. At that time, the scope of the Bone Hell was compressed to a pitiful less than 10 kilometers, and there were hundreds of billions of hell spirits. As a result, only less than 100,000 were able to move. Under the pressure of the Boundary Sea, the magic can only exert so much ability. Now that the spell is integrated with its origin, the suppression of Boundary Sea 2.3 will inevitably be weakened a lot. You will only know what effect it can achieve after trying it. Lin Moyu released the Bone Hell in another direction. The Bone Hell suddenly appeared in the Boundary Sea and merged with the Boundary Sea. The rules of the Boundary Sea still affect it, but the influence is no longer as strong as before. The Bone Hell still occupies a large area, and that area is a world of its own, forming a hell. 500 kilometers range, 5 million hell zone spirits. If we can integrate the 7th level source in the future, the effect should be further improved. Although it is far from comparable to the big world, it is enough for the temporary use. Put away the bone hell, and then we will welcome the arrival of the demon tiger realm. As a user of the world treasure, Mist is very interested in. Lin Moyu had no effect. Lin Moyu could clearly feel the location of the demon tiger realm. In 2 days, the two worlds will collide. The mist curls around, and the two worlds get closer and closer. Because there is no master in the big world, the way the collision happened, the choice naturally fell to the thunder purple striped tiger. The thunder purple striped tiger is for the origin of the big world, and its purpose is extremely clear. It naturally chooses the safest way, fusion. The moment the two worlds came into contact, the city was shaken by the wind. Practitioners in both worlds can feel this vibration as long as their cultivation reaches the other side realm. At the moment before the collision, I also saw the smile in the tiger's eyes with thunder and purple stripes. The smile was cruel and a little bloodthirsty. Lin Moyu was also smiling, but one who couldn't see the lightning case. At the same time as the collision occurred, Lin Moyu returned to the big world. Within the big world, he could clearly feel that the power of the rules of the demon tiger realm was being integrated. Judging from the time of the big world, it will take several days for the two sides to complete the integration. These few days are giving both sides time to prepare for war. The human race in the big world has already completed preparations for war, and the 10,000 Stars formation has been launched again. This time is different from before. The 10,000 Stars array has increased to 30, still covering the human star field. The array of 10,000 stars connected in series is enough to unleash a high-priced supreme combat power. The human army is also ready to go, and the army is all composed of the Holy Lord and the Supreme. After more than 20,000 years of preparation, there are now thousands of saints in the human race, and more than 50 supremes. But in this team, the strongest 30 is only a high-level supreme. The time given to the big world is too short, and the power of the big world has not been fully restored. All the supreme beings gathered together and sat down to discuss. Tian Jizuan said, Lin Jizuan sent a message that he is mainly responsible for this war. If there is any fish that slips through the demon tiger world, we will try our best to guard it. Tian Jizuan is now an intermediate supreme master. Although he is no longer the strongest among the human race, but he is still responsible for all matters of the human race. Lin Moyu comes back less and less now, but all the supremes know that Lin Moyu is always there. Some people express doubts. Can this battle be fought by Lin Jizuan alone? When Lin Jizuan came back last time, he seemed to be at the level of an intermediate supreme. Hao Jizuan chuckled and said, Lin Jizuan's combat power cannot be measured by realm. If he says there is no problem, then there is no problem. Most of the supreme beings present had participated in the 100 Clans War and had blind trust in Lin Moyu. There are also a few talented practitioners who have emerged later. They have heard the legend of Lin Moyu and do not understand the Linlithian language. They all express doubts. After all, Lin Moyu was only an intermediate supreme person on the surface. No matter how powerful his combat power is, how far can it go? At this time, a projection suddenly lit up in the conference room, and the human emperor's projection arrived. Lin Jizuan opened the door to space and sent an army of undead to help us defend. A gate to space appeared in the projection, and then a large group of skeletons rushed out of it, and then quickly rushed towards the human border to form a defense line. This army of skeletons numbered in the tens of millions, and they moved very quickly. Several people looked at each other. Lin Moyu did this because he was afraid that they would not be able to hold on. Several young supremes were a little dissatisfied. Does Supreme Lin think we can't defend it? The combat power of the skeleton god general could not be seen in the projection, and these young supremes felt that they had been insulted. The human emperor's voice was calm. Yes, Lin Jizuan is just afraid that we won't be able to defend it. The young supreme said, if even the 10,000 stars formation is not enough, can we just rely on these skeletons? The human emperor said, "These skeletons are all supreme beings." As soon as these words came out, the young supreme suddenly stopped talking and was stunned on the spot, even a little stunned. Tian Jizuan chuckled and said, "No need to be surprised. Lin Jizuan's combat power is beyond our imagination, let alone measured by realm. With these skeleton god generals, our human race's defense should be unimpeded." The appearance of the skeleton god general gave Lin Moyu, a few supremes who didn't know much about Lin Moyu, a clear understanding. 000. The brocade lich flies silently in the starry sky. It constantly travels through deep space at an extremely fast speed, only slightly slower than the gate of time and space, and far faster than the speed of light. Soon, the genie Tianxua entered the demon tiger garden. Because the two worlds are becoming more and more integrated, Genie Yexing can also play a role in the demon tiger world. Within the world, there is no suppression by the boundary sea, let alone distance restrictions. Lin Moyu saw the situation in the demon world directly through the genie lich. There are also no stars in the demon tiger realm. Like the Do realm, they are continents floating in the void. Fog rises from every continent, and the fog turns into monster tigers, which look ferocious and terrifying. These continents are gathering together to form an army. Obviously, these continents are not only the place where the demon tiger realm lives, but also the weapons of war. This is somewhat similar to the Battlestar of the Black Blood realm. The armies of thousands of continents have been organized, and they are marching towards the core of the human world with great momentum. Ever since the two worlds collided, the origin has been revealed in the core. Tianzuan can sense the location of the core of the big world, and just kill it directly without going wrong. The Lich and Brocade just looked at them and counted them all. There are 5 heavenly lords in total, and they should all be low-level heavenly lords. There are a lot of supreme realms, almost 300,000, but it's a pity that the peak supreme ones are still a little less. There are quite a lot of saints, more than 10 million. If we control these continents, we can probably form a relatively powerful battle formation. The existence of the brocade-robed lich gave Lin Moyu a clear understanding of the strength of the demon tiger realm. This kind of strength is not much different from what he estimated, and there is no surprise. Lin Moyu knew their route forward, and there was no need to set up defenses like when dealing with Dojie. He could just wait on their only path. After the Lich and Genie waited for the army of the demon tiger realm to fly over, the Lich and Genie saw the purple-striped tiger with thunder and light. He also entered the world of Jiehai and followed the army. Although according to the rules, he cannot intervene in the world's conflicts, rules are dead and people are alive. As the saying goes, if the people do not raise officials, they will not be punished. As long as no one in the world says anything, he will not be punished in the end. This has become the default rule of the world war, and everyone is playing like this. The big world now has no master, so the tiger with deep thunder and light patterns is naturally unscrupulous. After seeing all the information from 693, the Lich and Genie quickly returned and disappeared without a trace. The purple-striped tiger with thunder and light seemed to sense the moment the brocade-robed Lich left. Thunder and lightning pulsed between his brows, and lightning shot out of his eyes, sweeping the starry sky, but nothing happened. A few days later, the integration of the big world and the demon tiger world was completely completed, and the rules of both sides were completely integrated. Whether they are people from the demon tiger realm or cultivators from the big world, they can exert their full combat power here. The army of the demon tiger realm marched forward in a mighty manner without encountering any obstacles along the way. 5 huge phantoms appeared on the 5 continents, flying in the front at the same time. It's exactly what the Lord said, there is no strong person in this world. I have sensed the origin of this world, and I am certain that there is no heavenly lord in this world. A world without Tianzuan, haha, so pitiful. Not only are there no heavenly lords, they don't even have many supreme beings. The Lord said that this world was once very powerful, far stronger than us. What a pity. There is no pity, this world is like this, cruel limitations. Tianzuan has a strong sense of the origin, and through his sense of the origin of the big world, he can judge the approximate strength of the big world. This discovery made them full of confidence. The thunder-violet purple-striped tiger following behind could see it more clearly, with a cold look in his eyes. It's really a bluff. There is no Tianzuan in this world. As soon as he finished speaking, a white light suddenly lit up in front of the army, and countless sword energy cut through the starry sky and swept in. Countless white stars seemed to appear in the starry sky, and the dense white sword energy illuminated the dim starry sky extremely brightly. In the pure white sword energy, countless white bones were churning, making a buzzing sound that reached straight to the soul. Dare to make a sneak attack. It's useless. Several Tianzuan showed disdain and did not take these sword energies in their eyes at all. Suddenly attacked, the demon tiger army reacted very quickly. Thick fog rose from every continent, transforming into giant demon tigers and crashing into the sword energy. The starry sky shook violently, and large areas of space were shattered. The giant demon tiger and the bone sword were equally powerful, and they exploded in the starry sky at the same time. Nice. Lin Moyu said softly, these demon tiger realm continents are themselves a large formation and can easily block the white bone sword chi. If they are combined together, they can form a more powerful battle formation, perhaps reaching the level of Qingho Tong. The army stopped, and the rows of continents were arranged in a Z-shaped pattern. At the front were the 5 continents with Tianzuan. The 5 heavenly lords appeared at the same time. Their appearance looked somewhat similar to the thunderlight purple-striped tiger, and they also looked like monsters. One of the Tianzuan looked at Lin Moyu, Supreme Minister? Are you the only one? Lin Moyu was naturally not alone. There were many skeleton generals around him. However, Tianzuan regarded these skeleton gods as puppets. It is normal for a once powerful world to have some foundations. Otherwise, the last Dojie attempt to swallow Xiang would not have failed. Lin Moyu smiled and said, I can deal with you all by myself. Tianzuan sneered and said, you are very loud and courageous. Do you think you can stop us with just these puppets? Lin Moyu smiled and said, you want the origin of the great world, but actually I also want your origin. The great world needs to be sublimated, and my cultivation level needs to be improved. Your origin is very important to me. So this time, I want to thank you for coming and sending me the source. The heavenly lord of the demon tiger realm laughed at Lin Mo's tone, and sneered one after another. Lin Moyu's words didn't take these heavenly lords seriously at all. Boy, you are looking for death. But your world will end sooner or later, so I can kill you now. Behind them, huge worlds of rules appeared and disappeared. Tianzuan's aura swept across the starry sky, and the huge coercion rushed towards Lin Moyu as if it had substance. Lin Moyu was calm, and didn't care about the pressure of the heavenly lord realm. The Tianzuan realm can't scare him, but it's not like he hasn't been killed before. Lin Moyu snapped his fingers, and a ball of immortal flame exploded in the starry sky, turning into a sea of fire. In the sea of fire, skull thrones emerged one after another, and the skeleton king rose in response. In an instant, countless waves of Tianzuan realm aura swept through the starry sky. Not only did they block the pressure from the heavenly lord of the demon tiger realm, but they also pushed back all their pressure, and even launched a counter-siege. The 5 demonic tiger realm celestials looked at Lin Moyu dumbfounded, their tiger bodies shook, and they began to tremble. In front of them were hundreds of skeleton kings. Each one has the realm of a low-level heavenly lord, not much worse than them. There were only 5 of them, and there were 100 on Lin Moyu's side. The difference was 20 times. How could they fight? The thunder-colored purple-striped tiger behind the army was also stunned, and let out a low roar, impossible. He thought that the big world would have some foundation, otherwise it would not be possible to swallow up the Dojie in reverse. It's just that he never imagined that Di Linchi could be so strong. The puppets of hundreds of low-level heavenly lords are difficult to defeat, and the situation is very bad. The thunder-purple striped tiger's eyes flickered, and he waved his hand and threw out a small triangular flag. The small flag quickly grew in size and eventually turned into a sky with a diameter of more than 100,000 miles, comparable to the stars. The triangular flag was tattooed with countless demon tiger totems flying towards the army, and at the same time, demon tigers flew out from it. These demon tigers are all low-level heavenly lords, and there are as many as 50 of them. Coupled with the original 5 heavenly lords and the battle formation formed by the mainland, it is not without a battle experience. The Lord has taken action. No problem, as long as the Lord takes action, this battle will be won. Seeing the triangular flag, several Tianzuan got up excitedly. Lin Moyu sneered, "If you don't take action yourself, will these little tricks be useful?" Acting in his heart, the Skeleton King responded and killed him directly. Without any warning, war weariness broke out instantly. Thousands of continents boiled at the same time, the mist intertwined to form a whole, and the power rose sharply. A giant formation was revealed in the mist, and illusory demon tigers rushed out of the formation, all possessing the combat power of a low-level heavenly lord. The number of heavenly lords on the demon realm tigers' side has directly increased to 70. Although they are still weaker than Lin Moyu's side, they are not unable to fight. After all, there is an intermediate heavenly lord behind them. It seems that this is a duel of top combat power. With 70 versus 100, the Thunder Purple Pattern Tiger seems unsafe, once again leaving the factory with a history of being a master. The boulder turned into a large fortress in the starry sky and joined the battle group. The fortress's combat power is very strong, not weaker than Tianzuan, and it is very strong. As soon as it joined the battle group, it held back more than 10 skeleton kings. Lin Moyu looked at the fortress, frowning slightly, the magic weapon of scientific and technological medicine. From the formation, the pinnacle of the demonic tiger realm rushed out, but he had no chance to get close to the skeleton god general before he was beaten by the infinite sword Qi. He had known that there were technological magic weapons on the Origin continent, and the purple-robed heavenly lord had used technological battle puppets before. Unexpectedly, the thunder-purple striped tiger would also have technological magic weapons. From this point of view, there are still many technological magic weapons in Origin Tianlujiang. After the Lei Guang purple striped tiger took 2 shots in succession, the combat power of both sides seemed to be getting closer. Lin Moyu chuckled lightly, "Then add more fire and see if you can't help it and not end up." He snapped his fingers again, and for a moment, the unbroken skeleton god general appeared in the starry sky again. Hundreds of millions of skeleton god generals surrounded the army of the demon tiger realm from all directions. They all waved their bone swords and slashed out the bone sword energy. The sword energy fell on the formation, causing the formation to vibrate. The attack of the Peak Supreme cannot easily destroy the formation. But when the quantity increases, it's hard to say. Quantitative changes may also lead to qualitative changes. The sword energy fell densely, and the formation roared and vibrated continuously. 100 million skeleton generals, this number is outrageous. The purple striped tiger's eyebrows were beating with lightning. Impossible, how come there are so many? The foundation of this world is too terrifying. Not only him, but also the scalps of several heavenly lords who were fighting were numb. There are so many puppets, earned by money, of the Pinnacle Supreme. Even if they are allowed to kill, it will take a long time to kill them. If they are unlucky enough to be surrounded, they will all be counterattacked. But now, they can't retreat, they can only hope that their master can take action. Lin Moyu didn't care about the battlefield at all, he cared about the thunder, light and purple striped tiger. "Aren't you going to take action yet?" Lin Moyu thought to himself, he wanted to kill this guy together. Otherwise, even if the world war is won, having such an intermediate level heavenly lord alive will still be a hidden danger to himself. Lin Moyu would not show mercy at all when killing his enemies. The skeleton god general's sword energy never stops, and the formation is about to lose its hold. Lin Moyu said softly, "It's time for you to take action." Sure enough, Lei Guang purple striped tiger took action again. He took out a box and took a look at it. Chen Hui felt heartbroken when he saw it. After hesitating for 2 seconds, he opened the box. The lightning between his brows beat, and a drop of blood containing lightning flew into the box. The box exploded with a bang, and immediately after, hundreds of lightning purple-striped tigers flew out. Lin Moyu could see the expression of the lightning purple tiger through the eyes of the Lich and Lich. From the first moment he took out the box, Lin Moyu knew that this should be an extraordinary treasure. And it was most likely a one-time treasure, otherwise he wouldn't be so distressed. Lin Moyu was also a little surprised when the box exploded and hundreds of lightning purple-striped tigers rushed out. A box can actually replicate hundreds of lightning purple-striped tigers. Although the realm of each thunder and purple-striped tiger is one level lower, it is still a low-level Tianzuan. Just one drop of blood essence can be exchanged for 100 low-level gods. This box is indeed extraordinary. Hundreds of lightning purple-striped tigers entered the battlefield. They were grouped into groups of 10 to form a unique battle formation, which greatly increased their power. The battle formation was so powerful that the Skeleton King could not stop it and was retreating steadily. The power of this battle formation is not far behind, even if it is not as powerful as the mid-level Tianzuan. If you use this treasure, you will be invincible in the same situation. It seems that the background of the Thunder Purple Striped Tiger is not weak. He can even bring out such a treasure. Do I want to kill him? Lin Moyu had other thoughts in mind. Shueiji Tianzuan said that those who can participate in the World War must either be powerful or have a profound background. People like Zipeo Tianzuan can only be regarded as small shrimps, and the Luozi sect is nothing. Obviously, the Thunder Purple Striped Tiger is not only powerful in itself, but also has a deep enough background. This made Lin Moyu have to think about whether there would be any consequences if he killed the Thunder Purple Striped Tiger. 493. There should be a Dao Zun behind the Thunder Purple Striped Tiger. If the Dao Zun comes to the door in person, it is not impossible to directly destroy the world at a certain price. Although the King of Jiehai is very strict about rules, rules can be changed, and I am nothing. Lin Moyu was self-aware that he was nothing in front of Taoist Master. If you really offend Dao Zun, you can be abandoned at any time. There seems to be no benefit in trying to kill him. In that case, leave yourself some way out. Lin Moyu had an idea in his mind and put away his murderous intention towards the Thunderlight and Purple-Striped Tiger. But the Demon Tiger realm must be destroyed if it should be destroyed. With another snap of his fingers, 20 undead commanders appeared on the battlefield, along with the undead army. Each undead army is composed of millions of skeleton god generals. Under the leadership of the undead commander, all the forces are integrated together, and the combat power is greatly improved. The world of rules of bones rose up behind the undead army, and the world of rules evolved into a star sea of bones and entered the battlefield. Fighting battle formation against battle formation, the power of the undead army's battle formation is slightly stronger than that of the Skeleton King. They cooperated with the Skeleton King to level the battle again. The Thunderviolet Striped Tiger's eyes widened. Why are there still more? He found that he could not see through Lin Moyu more and more. This mid-level, Day, Supreme Master had endless tricks and bottomless methods. No matter what cards he was dealt, he had a way to deal with them. Hundreds of millions of skeleton gods will continue to attack thousands of continents, and the formation formed by thousands of continents is already crumbling. Once the battle formation collapses, thousands of continents will be exposed to the skeleton god general. When the billions of sword energy comes, the continent will be beaten to collapse. The Thunder Purple Striped Tiger's eyes showed an anxious look, and he was also debating whether to take action himself. Lin Moyu, the little supreme being, seemed a bit mysterious in his eyes. The lightning between his eyebrows pulsed, and a big word appeared, and then a bolt of lightning shot out and landed on the triangular flag. The triangular flag was once again magnified hundreds of times, falling onto each continent as if it covered the sky and the sun, and merged with the battle formation on the continent. On the continent, a huge figure appeared. It looked exactly like the Thunder and Purple Tiger, but it was countless times larger, much larger than the galaxy. With the help of the triangular flag and the formation of 1,000 continents, the purple-striped tiger with thunder condensed into a clone. In 1,000 continents, countless powerful men from the demon tiger realm injected power into their clones at the same time. The clone of the thunder purple-striped tiger became so powerful that in almost a blink of an eye, its aura had already entered the ranks of the intermediate heavenly lord. Although the thunder purple-striped tiger has not taken action yet, it is no different from his own action. A huge thunder ball gathered in his hand and hit Lin Moyu with a terrifying momentum. Die! The mid-level heavenly lord's blow was so powerful that the starry sky was shattered and the whole world was shaking. The power was even transmitted to the boundary sea, and the boundary sea set off huge waves. In the mist, the masters behind the other three worlds were shocked at the same time. He actually took action himself. It seems that the remaining heritage of this world is really amazing. The skinny dragon is bigger than the dragon. After all, it was once so powerful, so it's normal to leave some behind. The three of them were in the thick fog, unable to see, but they could feel the powerful powers seeping out of the big world. In the big world, the moment the thunderball appeared, it blocked the starry sky and annihilated the rules. All laws were temporarily ineffective. Even the battlefield where the fierce fighting was taking place came to a momentary pause. The law of space failed and Lin Moyu could not dodge and could only watch the thunderball coming. Lin Moyu's face was expressionless and showed no signs of panic. The brocade-robed lich appeared silently beside him, blending into Lin Moyu. Spell, blessed by the Great Road. A faint light shone on Lin Moyu's body, and then an avenue appeared. Seeing Dedao, Lei Guang purple-striped tiger's expression changed drastically. Dedao, how could he have Dedao? At this time, the thunderball exploded on Lin Moyu's body, the roar resounded through his soul, and all the people in the demon tiger realm spurted blood. Huge thunder light raged in the starry sky, and countless skeletons were killed upon contact. But there are the undead, and they rise again. The thunder violet-striped tiger's eyes were serious, staring at Lin Moyu's position. Ever since Dedao appeared, he felt that he might not be able to kill Lin Moyu. The lightning gradually faded, and the avenue appeared in sight again. The avenue enveloped Lin Moyu, but Lin Moyu was unscathed in it. Lin Moyu said with joy in her heart, blessed by the great Tao, the effect is so good. The thunderball that was equivalent to a strike from the mid-level Tianzuan just now, Dao blocked most of the attacks for him. The part of the attack that landed on the body was also weakened by the spell, and was finally distributed to the undead army. Tens of billions of undead legions, 1 point for each person, these injuries are nothing at all. Lin Moyu looked at the shocked thunder purple-striped tiger. It's disrespectful to come and not die. Snapping his fingers again, the divine lich appeared beside him. At the same time, the power of hundreds of millions of beliefs burned, 10 drops of ancestral water fell on the body of the divine lich, and the breath of the divine lich. It rises sharply, almost breaking through the supreme realm and reaching the heavenly realm. This is a big world, and the power of faith is useful. The lightning purple tiger suddenly screamed strangely, ancestral water. How could you have ancestral water? Even Shui Ji Tianzuan didn't recognize Zhu Shui, but Lei Guang purple-striped tiger could. This is enough to prove how extensive Lei Guang purple-striped tiger's knowledge is. Knowledge generally also represents background. Although many casual cultivators have high realms, their knowledge may not necessarily exceed those of those with background. Lin Moyu smiled slightly and ignored his words. At this moment, the divine lich had summoned the avenue of power and punched out. Technique, break through all magic with one punch. The first punch increased tenfold. This punch touched the threshold of Tianzuan. The entire starry sky shook violently, but the lightning purple-striped tiger clone, which was larger than the galaxy, remained unmoved at all. Immediately afterwards, the divine lich punched out for the second time, increasing its power by 100 times. The lightning purple-striped tiger clone snapped, the lightning jumped, and collided with the divine lich. In the roar that resounds through the soul, the divine lich. was pushed back, and the thunder-purple striped tiger's hand was also shaken very high. This punch was slightly inferior to that of the Divine Lich, but the range was quickly closing. The third punch doubled the impact. A bright avenue suddenly appeared in the starry sky, and a giant slowly stood up from the avenue and raised his fist. The thunder-colored purple-striped tiger screamed, "The true form of the great Tao." It would be fine if a great road appeared. Although I was surprised, at least I could accept it. But what the hell is the true form of the great avenue? Is that something that Tianzuan can touch? Even if he is a Taoist, not every Taoist can have access to such high-end gadgets. No matter how high the thunder-like purple-patterned tiger thinks of himself, he still knows that he is still far away from the true form of the great Tao. He couldn't believe it, but with the true form of Tao right in front of him, he couldn't believe it. The third punch of the Divine Lich attracted the true form of the avenue, and with the power of the avenue, Sanlam Nguyen. The purple-striped tiger with thunder and light bit the bullet, and its clone condensed tens of thousands of thunder lights to meet the clone of the avenue. Boom! The starry sky was once again blown to pieces, affecting hundreds of light years. Everyone on both sides of the battlefield, no matter who they were, was blown away in an instant. A large number of skeleton god generals died and then immediately returned to their original places. Although the all-powerful punch of the Divine Lich seems to be very strong, it is actually close to the mid-level Heavenly Lord. The clone of the thunder-purple striped tiger received the punch and was not injured except for consuming a lot of strength. He was obviously a little surprised. The real body of the avenue seemed not as strong as he thought. But the memory knowledge about the true god of the great Tao still made him feel scared. His eyes were extremely complex. There was both ancestral water and the true body of the great Tao. It was completely beyond his expectations. He no longer believes that this is the foundation left behind in this world. How can any foundation be so strong? Who are you? The thunder-colored purple-striped tiger said coldly. Lin Moyu did not answer, but said lightly, "I'm thinking whether to kill you or not." The two of them communicated through sound transmission across the battlefield. If Lin Moyu said such words before, it would only make Lei Guangzi striped tiger feel ridiculous. But now, he couldn't laugh at all. He had a feeling that what Lin Moyu said was true. At this time, his eyes suddenly shrank, and a heavenly lord appeared next to Lin Moyu. This heavenly lord was wearing a battle armor and his appearance could not be seen clearly, but he exuded the aura of a mid-level heavenly lord. Since Kujun became a resurrector, his fighting power is even stronger than before he was alive. No weaker than the thunder-purple striped tiger. The Lei Guangzi pattern tiger's eyes became more and more complicated. Is this your trump card? Just because he wants to kill me, do you think it is possible? Lin Moyu shook his head. You can try it. I think he has a chance to kill you. If that doesn't work, I can think of other ways. Whether you believe it or not, it's really not difficult for me to kill you. Lin Moyu's words made Lei Guang purple striped tiger's breath stagnant. His eyes were complicated, as if he was thinking about whether what Lin Moyu said was true or false. Lin Mo said, I know that you have an unusual status among the demon clan, and I don't want to offend the demon clan for no reason. That's why I'm willing to have a good talk with you. If you lose the battle for the world, you'll lose. Don't risk your own life. The thunder-colored purple-striped tiger whispered, Who are you? How do you know my identity? Of course Lin Moyu didn't know. He had judged it from the details, but he had already confessed that this guy was not very smart. Lin Moyu did not answer him, but said lightly, I'll give you time to think about it. With a thought in his heart, Kujun had already charged out, heading towards the clone of the thunder-colored purple-striped tiger. Now that Kujun has been summoned, what will happen in this world? It's time for the war to come to an end. As Kujun attacked, 100 more skeleton kings and Wangi skeleton generals appeared in the starry sky. The entire starry sky is densely packed with Lin Moyu's people. Thousands of continents have been completely surrounded, and there is no possibility of escaping. The 5 heavenly lords of the demon tiger realm looked desperate. They would lose this battle. The thunder-purple striped tiger was surprised again. There are actually more. The feeling Lin Moyu gave him became more and more unfathomable. There are so many skeleton kings who are equivalent to the heavenly lord level, plus a billion skeleton gods who are equivalent to the peak supreme. There are intermediate heavenly lords, things that can induce the true god of the avenue, plus ancestral water. How can this battle be fought? Got it. The Lei Guangzi striped tiger knows that he has really kicked the iron. The depth of this world far exceeded his expectations. It's no wonder that Dojia lost so quickly in the past. There is no comparison between Zeniji. Dojia just comes to the door and sends the origin to others for repair. Lin Moyu looked at the thunder-purple striped tiger quietly, as if to say, you can try to see if I have any other trump cards. Lei Guangzi striped tiger did have such an idea for a moment, and he immediately fell asleep on his bed. You can't try this thing again. If you try it again, his life may really depend on it. Kujun suppressed his clone, and it wouldn't take long before the clone would be defeated. When the time comes, he will either do it himself, or he will fail. After thinking for a moment, Lei Guang Purple Striped Tiger said forcefully, okay, I have lost this world war, but I have a request. The Lightning Purple Striped Tiger said, 5 heavenly lords, I will take my belt with you. Lin Moyu nodded, you say it. Lin Moyu replied without hesitation, no problem. Lin Moyu had already guessed this condition. The Thunder-Light Purple Pattern Tiger wants to save face no matter what. This is considered 100 levels. To read exciting novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. 5 low-level heavenly lords are nothing. To Lin Moyu, there is not much difference between killing or not killing. The purple-striped thunder tiger suddenly let out a roar, and Lin Moyu also had a tacit understanding and ordered to stop. The fierce battle stopped in an instant, and the 5 heavenly lords heard the order of the thunder purple-striped tiger, come here. They came to the front of Lei Guangzi Hu and waited for Lei Guangzi. When Hu's order? Lei Guangzi Pattern Tiger issued the order, but the 5 people looked a little excited and seemed to be saying something. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry and let them discuss it. Anyway, the demon tiger realm is already in his pocket. As long as he has the big head and some small profits, he can completely abandon it. After discussing for a while, Lei Guang Purple Striped Tiger once again said, there is one more request. For some reason, Lin Moyu felt that his voice seemed a little awkward. This guy is a bit thin-skinned. Lin Moyu thought in his mind, and at the same time said through a voice message, just tell me. The Lei Guangzi Striped Tiger said, these 5 of my subordinates still have families in the demon tiger realm. I hope they can be taken away together. Lin Moyu said without hesitation, okay. He agreed very happily. In his opinion, this was just a small profit and nothing at all. Lei Guangzi Striped Tiger also didn't expect that Lin Moyu agreed so happily. He seemed to want to confirm again, are you sure? Has been. Lin Mo said, I'm sure, and you can also choose some people you want to take away. The Lei Guangzi Striped Tiger looked deeply at Lin Moyu and said, okay, then it's settled. In just a few words, the 2 supreme beings determined the future direction of the 2 worlds. Those who are taken away by the Thunderlight Purple Striped Tiger can survive, but those who are not taken away will die. Lin Moyu will not be left alive, he is the leader of the big world. The lesson is vivid in my mind. Those who leave the Demon Tiger realm will have all ties with the Demon Tiger realm severed, including cause and effect. The 5 heavenly lords return to their respective continents and put their own people into the world of rules. Lei Guang Purple Striped Tiger thought for a moment, then he picked some people and families and took them away with him. These people are all top-notch supreme beings, and they are all geniuses who will have the opportunity to become deities in the future. They all still have value, so they are worth living. At this moment, everything becomes selfish. The world war is actually like this, and Lei Suo Jingjihu is already relatively kind. Before leaving, the Lei Guang Purple Striped Tiger looked at Lin Moyu again. I lost this world war, but I think you are okay. My name is Lei Hao. If you come to the Beijo monster clan one day, you can come to me and I will protect you. After saying that, he took the people away, left the demon tiger realm, and severed all ties with the demon tiger realm. He lost this world war. He lost so completely that he didn't even know the true strength of his opponent. But as long as your life is still there, it's not a loss. Lei Hao took away about 1 million people, all of whom were lucky. After leaving his own world, Lei Guang Purple Striped Tiger looked back again. He didn't have to really leave until his world was completely shrouded in mist. However, Lei Hao was not discouraged. I did lose this time, but I won't do it next time. You are very good, maybe a genius, but you will not know until you set foot on the original continent. Genius, you know nothing. Then he sighed, the world war has failed. The old man is right. It's really difficult to rely on yourself. It seems that I can only go back and give in to those old guys. At this time, he suddenly patted his head again. Really, I forgot to ask his name. Forget it, I don't have the shame to go back anyway. I can always see you again in the future if I have a chance. The other 3 approaching worlds did not notice Lei Hao's departure, and they were still getting closer. After entering the fog, they found that they were unable to change direction. Like 727, now they can only move forward in the previous direction, and the 3 worlds will collide with the big world. In the big world, the formations on the 1,000 continents of the Demon Tiger Realm are still in operation, and the people of the Demon Tiger Realm inside are full of despair. Lei Hao's strength still exceeded his expectations, and the difficult battle he imagined did not come. Although Lei Hao has many methods, compared with himself, he is obviously much weaker. Lei Hao was easily eliminated and the world war was won. The bone hell flew out and began to engulf the continent. Even if there is still a supreme being in the continent, it will be difficult to escape from the devouring hell of bones. The world war is so cruel. It's not that Lin Moyu doesn't want to let them go, so what if he lets them go? Send them to the Boundary Sea? Sooner or later they will die. If you continue to allow them to live in the big world like the gods in ancient times, it will be a harm to the big world and the human race in the big world. The world was almost destroyed because of this, and Lin Moyu became hard-hearted. In fact, it was possible for Lei Hao to take away all living beings before. If he proposed it, Lin Moyu might agree. It's just that most of the creatures in the Demon Tiger Realm are of no value to Lei Hao and were abandoned by him. If there is an afterlife, I hope you will find a good boat. Lin Moyu showed no mercy and did what he had to do to be worthy of the world and his own identity. The bone hell has swallowed up thousands of continents. In the big world, the bone hell can exert terrifying power and is a nightmare for all living creatures in the world. Thousands of continents were quickly swallowed up in a very short period of time. A few of the Pinnacle Supremes resisted, but were quickly killed by the undead army. After devouring thousands of continents and countless creatures, the bone hell has become much stronger again. Lin Moyu felt that it was about to break away from the low-level Supreme and be promoted to the mid-level Supreme. Eat, there will be new food coming to your door soon. Lin Moyu whispered to himself, turned around, opened the door to space, and headed to the core of the Demon Tiger Realm. The Demon Tiger world is very empty and empty. There are 1,000 continents in total, and this war can be said to be overwhelming. At the core of the Demon Tiger Realm, Lin Moyu saw the origin of the Demon Tiger Realm. Perhaps because several Qinzuan and some Peak Supremes left, taking away some of the original power, the origin of the Demon Tiger Realm was slightly traumatized. But such a little trauma has no impact on the overall situation. At this moment, the Demon Tiger Realm is an ownerless thing, and it is not difficult to refine it. The soul power pours into the origin of the Demon Tiger Realm like a sharp sword, refining it. Lin Moyu once again experienced a journey that he had experienced before, and he saw the life of the Demon Tiger Realm. From the beginning, Lei Hao came to the Boundary Sea, put the origin realm into the Boundary Sea, activated and evolved with his own power, and finally formed the Demon Tiger Realm. Later, there were battles in the world and victory after victory in the Demon Tiger Realm, and it finally grew into what it is now. Lin Moyu now knows that the meaning of the World War is to provide high-level body sources for Qingshou. By plundering and devouring each other in the world, the origin is continuously strengthened, and finally a high-level origin is obtained. When the fruit is picked, the creatures in the world, whether dead or alive, all depend on the whim of their owner. After all, it is his world, and he has all the control over the entire world. It's good for someone like Lei Hao to be willing to take away some of his subordinates. Some masters simply don't care about the life and death of the creatures in the world of Boundary Sea. All they want is the origin. Lin Moyu knew very well that there was an essential difference in quality and scale between the seventh order origin he had fused and the seventh order origin formed by the big world itself. It is also the seventh level origin. Once the big world can reach the seventh level, it will definitely be much stronger than what it can fuse with itself. Lin Moyu suddenly had a thought in his mind. In fact, cultivating the origin of the world should really be cultivated to the ninth level. Plucking after cultivating to the seventh level is actually drinking poison to quench thirst. It is too short-sighted. If I can cultivate the great world to the ninth level. As soon as this idea appeared, it began to grow wildly and was difficult to contain. Lin Moyu began to analyze the feasibility. Once the big world reaches the seventh level, Dao Zun Zero may appear in it. If he could not become the master of the big world at that time, Dao Zun and the big world might even come back to bite him. If Dao Zun is Hao Jizuan, Renhuang and others, he naturally believes that this will not be the case. But as generations of geniuses continue to grow, Lin Moyu cannot gamble on other people's hearts. Once the bet loses, he cannot bear the consequences. Lin Moyu knew one thing very well: never leave the power of life and death in the hands of others. The power to control life and death must be held in one's own hands. There are certain risks in cultivating the great world to the ninth level. But the ninth order origin firmly attracted him, especially the ninth order origin of the big world level. He would even surpass the ninth order origin that he had fused. I want to become the master of the world and truly take the world into my own hands so that I can avoid these risks. At the same time, I want to grow with the world and become a Taoist or even a stronger being. Lin Moyu made great aspirations and set goals in his heart. He put away the world origin of the demon tiger realm and returned to the core of the big world. His appearance immediately attracted the attention of all the supreme beings in the big world. Although they couldn't enter the big world rooms like Lin Moyu, they could see some blurry pictures. All of you, the supreme beings, can sense that there is an extra person at the great world ruin. Tian Jizuan said, Lin Jizuan is back. It seems that he has solved the demon tiger world. Saint Hao smiled and said, that should be the case. After solving the Dojia last time, Lin Jizuan also directly brought the origin back. A new supreme leader named Yin Zhan whispered, so, the Demon Tiger 4.7 world is not as strong as imagined. Tian Jizuan chuckled, I think it's not that the Demon Tiger realm is too weak, but that Lin Jizuan is too strong. I don't know how strong Lin Jizuan has become over the years. Yin Zhan still disagreed with Tian Jizuan's statement. I can feel that Lin Jizuan is still an intermediate supreme. What he means is that no matter how strong the intermediate supreme is, there are limits. Several supremes who had fought alongside Lin Moyu remained silent. They did not express their opinions, but they definitely disagreed with Yin Zhan's statement. The big world suddenly began to shake, and these supreme beings could sense that the origin of the big world was rapidly increasing. Lin Moyu directly gave the origin of the demon tiger realm to the great world. Although it was only the fifth level origin, it was also a great tonic for the great world. While the big world was refining and absorbing the source, it also fed back a large amount of the source to Lin Moyu. The connection between Lin Moyu and the big world became closer, and at the same time, waves of insights entered his soul like a surging tide. While the big world improves itself, it also does not forget to feed back to the source. Lin Moyu does not need to practice on his own at all, and his realm begins to rise rapidly. This feeling of rising together with the big world makes the connection between each other closer. Not only the realm is improved, but also a lot of insights pour into the soul. Those are the various perceptions of the power of the void. Lin Moyu has accumulated it for so many years. He first came into contact with the power of the void from the inheritance of the Yunwu sect. Later, he also unknowingly felt that he was constantly generating various small perceptions, all into the moment exploded. The big world adds fuel to the fire, gathering small insights into rivers, and eventually surges forward. All laws should have both false and true sides. This is the law of immortality, the law of time, and the law of space. Life is real, death is virtual. The power of life is like the energy of the yang world, and the power of death is like the things in the underworld. The combination of virtuality and reality should be the final appearance of the immortal law. Under his understanding, the laws of immortality changed. Location. The gray and white galaxy of laws naturally emerged in the world of rules. The power of life became more and more brilliant, and the Vitality 01 permeated the entire galaxy of laws, even replacing the power of death. And the law galaxy, which represents the power of death, began to become illusory, becoming more and more inconspicuous, and finally there was not much gray left. However, the insignificant power of death contains far more power than before, but the master is involved in death. Immediately afterwards, the galaxy of immortal laws quietly dispersed and turned into countless starlights. It becomes nothing but real. The immortal law of the intersection of virtuality and reality spreads wantonly in the world of rules and integrates with the small world. From now on, there is no more immortal law galaxy, it has all been integrated into the world of rules. The world of rules that incorporates the power of virtuality and reality becomes increasingly powerful. Life and death, virtuality and reality, yin and yang. They were all changed at Wu and Lin Moyu's thoughts. Then there are the laws of time and space. Time and space are originally laws of virtuality and reality. Ordinary people cannot feel time and space, but they really exist. Now, Lin Moyu clearly understood the true and false power of the two laws and mastered them more deeply. He can control the time in an area, making the time in this area either accelerate, decelerate, or even flow backwards. Cooperating with the laws of space, he can also cut this area into countless pieces, and each piece has a different time. Use the power of time and space to strangle your opponent. Lin Moyu felt that even if he didn't use any magic, he could be invincible just by relying on the power of time and space. After all, the Taoist master of the Chizai sect needs magic weapons to go back in time. And he didn't know how many times he had gone back in time. The two laws of time and space, the galaxy, collapsed like the galaxy of the law of immortality, turning into the power of virtual reality and integrating into the world of rules. The world of rules roared and grew rapidly. The volume is more than 10 times larger than before, and it has also become stronger. The world tree also grew larger and continued to cover most of the regular world. It seems that no matter how the world of rules changes, he is at the core. Understanding the power of reality and reality clearly, and even integrating the power of reality and reality into the world of rules, is one of the differences between the Heavenly Lord and the Supreme Being. With the power of virtuality and reality, the world of rules will be closer to the real world and have the ability to evolve all things. Another difference is that Tianzuan's world of rules is stronger and more independent. Just by relying on the world of rules, Tianzuan can gain powerful power, which is much stronger than the Supreme's world of rules. The world of Tianzuan's rules can evolve all things, even living things. I didn't expect that before I became Tianzuan, I already have a world of rules similar to Tianzuan. Lin Moyu firmly stood on the position of high-level supreme, and his strength increased significantly again. He knows very well that his improvement is all round, whether it is soul or body, whether it is spells or methods, there is no shortcomings. Things that have never been successful before can now be tried. Lin Moyu still vividly remembers that when he first built the world of rules, he tried to integrate the laws of immortality, time and space into one body and then use Shufa Shinkang to carry them. Unfortunately, it ended in failure. The magic star itself was not strong enough to carry the three laws at the same time. Now that he has truly mastered the power of the void, the law galaxy has undergone major changes and is completely integrated into the world of rules. Now the entire world of rules is full of the power of various rules. Lin Moyu can control it at will with just a thought. He can mobilize as much as he wants with incomparable precision. Precise manipulation of power is of great benefit to the carrying of spells and can increase the success rate. In addition, the magic stars have also been integrated with the power of the source, and they have been transformed into original level magic. Failure in the past was nothing. Lin Moyu felt that he could give it a try now and maybe he could succeed. First of all, I chose the Skeleton God General. The Skeleton God General, like the Skeleton King, is a fusion of the 7th level origin. If even that doesn't work, there's no need to try anything else. Lin Moyu mobilized the laws of space and injected them into the stars that summoned the Skeleton God General. The magic star blooms with purple light, and 7 golden threads surround it, making it appear extremely tall. The laws of space were smoothly injected into it, and the magic stars showed no resistance, which was completely different from the previous time. The whole process went very smoothly. As the owner, Lin Moyu could fully feel the process. Originally, summoning the Skeleton God General itself carried the law of immortality, but now it also carries the law of space. From then on, the Skeleton God General will have the ability to teleport, and can even open the door to space and travel infinite distances in an instant. And he felt that there was still redundancy in the magic stars, and it seemed that he could continue. Then continue. The law of time was also mobilized and injected into it again. This time, we encountered some obstacles. Originally, the law of immortality and the law of space had formed a balance, which seemed to be perfect. The addition of the power of time broke this balance. Lin Moyu manipulated the laws of time, 127 letting the laws of time and space merge to form the power of time and space, and once again achieve balance. Lin Moyu said to himself, the law of immortality originally has 2 powers, and the power of time also has 2 powers, and they can also maintain balance. Lin Moyu's manipulation of power was extremely precise, no more and no less, allowing the 2 laws to achieve a perfect fusion and maintain an absolute balance with the law of immortality. At the moment when the fusion was completed, the purple light of the magic star flourished, and the golden lines rotated rapidly, inheriting a more powerful aura from the Honk star. The fused power actually began to enter the world of bones and rules, and then passed through the world of bones and rules, and was used by every skeleton god. Lin Moyu smiled. From now on, his skeleton general will possess the law of immortality and the power of time and space. The skeleton god will be able to fight across time and space. Of course, the skeleton god's application of the power of time and space is far inferior to his own, and it is only some basic applications. However, the power of time and space can be used for defense, which can greatly enhance the defense of the skeleton god general. At the same time, you can also enter another level of time and space to conduct a surprise attack. After incorporating the power of time and space, the Skeleton God General's combat methods will become diversified and extremely flexible. Lin Moyu tried it out in the rules world, and after learning about the new abilities of the Skeleton God, he once again targeted the Skeleton King. Following the same pattern, the power of time and space is injected into it. With the experience of the Skeleton God General, the process of injecting the law to summon the Skeleton King was extremely smooth. Soon, the Skeleton King also possessed the power of time and space. He could travel through time and space, making his combat more flexible and his defense power greatly improved. In addition, Lin Mo's realm has been upgraded to a high-level supreme, and the Skeleton King's combat power has increased by at least 2 or 3 times compared to before. Although the realm is still that of a low-level heavenly lord, he is no longer the weakest among the low-level heavenly lords, at least no worse than the 5 low-level heavenly lords in the Demon Tiger realm. What's more, if 500 Skeleton Kings play together, their combat power will at least double after mutual amplification. Even if he encounters an intermediate heavenly lord, Lin Moyu is confident in fighting him. Even if you haven't fought before, you can still entangle the mid-level Tianzuan and make it difficult for the opponent to escape. In addition to being powerful, the power of time and space is also difficult to deal with. Very satisfied with his masterpiece, Lin Moyu thought, it's time to let other spells incorporate the power of the void. Once the magic is integrated into the power of void, its effect will be greatly improved. And even if there is no origin, as long as the power of virtuality and reality is in the body, it can still play a certain role after leaving the big world. At least it will not be suppressed too miserably by the boundary sea. The celestial beings in the great world used to be like this. He may not necessarily have integrated the original power, but he must have understood the power of the void and integrated it into the technique. Therefore, Tianzuan also has certain combat power in the boundary sea. As soon as he thought of it, he did it. Lin Moyu used his virtual power and merged into the magic stars. He is using the virtual power of the law of immortality, which is his natal law. The law of immortality is contained in every magic star. Therefore, it is most suitable to incorporate the power of the void into the law of immortality. In the future, after these spells are promoted to the original level, it will not be too late to add the power of time and space. In the world of rules, the power of virtuality and reality is constantly surging, and waves of virtual power are injected into each magic star. The scene where magic stars were collectively promoted once again reappeared, and each magic star began to rotate rapidly and began to advance. The color of each magic star changed from white to gray, the space around the stars began to distort, and the magic stars began to become thicker and more powerful. It's like the scene from the Bone Hell was once again staged when it was promoted. It's just that this time the scene is bigger and the scale is bigger. At this time, Infinite Fusion suddenly moved. The Infinite Fusion spell star sheds boundless hazy energy of chaos, and then he flew towards the Undead Gaze spell star with the energy of chaos. The energy of chaos was like a big shot, and with a bang, Gaze of the Undead was shot into the Hell of Bones. It is sublimating towards the neutron star, and the extremely thick, Undead Gaze spell star cannot stop this shot at all. The magic stars fell into the Hell of Bones like meteors and rushed into the river of hellfire. The river of fire boiled in an instant, churning into huge waves. Then the Infinite Fusion spurted out more chaotic energy and injected it into the Bone Hell. Lin Moyu saw it and said, he wants to combine Gaze of the Dead and Hell of Bones into one. This is not the first time that fusion spells have been used. The Bone Hell was fused before, and the Skeleton God General was also fused. Every fusion is infinite fusion. It was automatic and spontaneous, and there was no need for Lin Moyu to take the lead. The same was true this time. He still made his own decisions and merged. Lin Moyu didn't stop him. He knew that what infinite fusion did was beneficial to him. Every time after fusion, the effect of 1 + 1 is greater than 2 can appear, and this time is definitely no exception. Infinite fusion spewed out a large amount of chaotic energy, completely covering the Hell of Bones, and was photographed. I went in to report Gaze of the Dead, but didn't come out. The skeleton hell is boiling, the hell spirits inside are roaring, and the fusion is continuing. Infinite fusion was not idle, it rushed towards other magic stars. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes. The target of infinite fusion this time was actually Summoning Legion Ruler. It once again spewed out a large amount of chaotic energy, covering the Summoning Legion Ruler spell star. The chaotic energy wrapped it and rushed towards the Summoning Death Dragon Knight. Summon Death Dragon Knight has been fused once, and this time it is going to be fused again. Moreover, in Summoning Legion Rulers, in addition to Legion Rulers, there are also undead commanders. Lin Moyu's eyes wrinkled slightly, but he still didn't stop him. He still chooses to believe in infinite fusion. Infinite fusion, after spitting out a large amount of chaotic energy, it became obviously much weaker. Its power is not unlimited and will be exhausted. Once depleted, it takes a long time to recover. Summon Legion Ruler, was dragged. Summon Death Dragon Knight, but it is obviously somewhat resistant to fusion again. In fact, it resisted last time, but under the power of infinite fusion, it had no choice but to be forced to fuse together. This time it still resisted, but infinite fusion did not let it get used to it. Infinite fusion threw the big iron pot again and swallowed the 2 magic stars. Chaos turned into flames and continued to heat the cauldron, while at the same time it spurted out large jets of chaos energy into the cauldron. The big pot was crackling like a stir-fry. After doing all this, infinite fusion's light was several times dimmer than usual, and its aura also faded. Lin Moyu was a little worried and sent a message of consciousness, "Are you okay?" Infinite fusion, shake left and right to indicate nothing is wrong. Lin Moyu felt that he should find a way to enhance infinite fusion. Other spells had been enhanced many times, but it was not too enhanced. After some calculation, he found that in addition to the small piece of iron given by Su Jianqing, he later swallowed a portion of spiritual materials. After that, he couldn't care less about ordinary spiritual materials. In the secret realm of the ancient talisman, a small spiritual brass was found, and infinite fusion also took the initiative to eat it. When the spiritual flowers were opened, it ate 10 more. Other than that, infinite fusion didn't ask for anything else. It doesn't look down on even the 7th order origin. Lin Moyu could tell from this that infinite fusion wanted something very strange. What exactly that small piece of iron was, he still couldn't figure out. Later, I could understand that they were all spiritual materials. Moreover, infinite fusion becomes more and more selective as it eats more. It can no longer appreciate ordinary spiritual materials, and it needs better and stronger spiritual materials. Go back and ask Senya Shueiji where you can get better spiritual materials. Seeing how hard infinite fusion was working, Lin Moyu couldn't treat it badly. The changes in the skeleton hell gradually became quieter. After the integration of Gaze of the Undead and the sky above the skeleton hell, in addition to the 10-day volley, there was another huge eye. The eyes were burning with flames, like the eyes of the god of death, cold and ruthless, staring at the entire hell of bones. With its addition, the bone hell seems to become more real. Lin Moyu felt the changes in the skeleton hell. With the addition of Undead Gaze, it became even more powerful. Undead Gaze can burn the enemy's soul. Not only can it directly attack the soul, but it can also reduce the enemy's various abilities. With Bienhua, after entering the skeleton hell, the combat power will be reduced by at least twice. Lin Moyu hasn't used Undead for a long time. Gaze, as the level increases, the effect of Gaze of the Undead becomes weaker and weaker. Unexpectedly, this fusion would allow Gaze of the Dead to summon the second spring. The skeleton hell integrated with Undead Gaze greatly improves the soul's attack power and also enhances its ability to weaken enemies. Now even if a peak supreme person enters it, he will have a headache if he wants to escape. He can be said to be invincible under the heavenly realm. Lin Moyu's attention returned to the big iron pot again, which was frying vegetables. The 2 magic stars were still merging, but judging from the movement, it was almost over. Lin Moyu already understood why it was called infinite fusion. There is no limit to the number of times of fusion, only whether it is appropriate. Even if the spell has been fused before, it can be fused again. Lin Moyu realized that he had entered a misunderstanding before, thinking that the spell could only be fused once. Infinite fusion teaches you through words and deeds that the technique can be fused multiple times. The pattern must be opened up, the mind must be freed, and it cannot be restricted to one place. Infinite fusion is still spraying the energy of chaos, and it only needs to enter the scene in person. It is very arrogant and seems to think that the fusion of 2 spells is not worthy of its own end. Finally, the movement in the big iron pot became smaller and smaller until it disappeared. The lid of the pot opened, and a gray magic star flew out of the pot. The magic stars are so thick that the surrounding space is stretched out of shape, and distortions visible to the naked eye appear. The magic has been promoted to neutron star level, the same level as the bone hell, but it has not yet integrated into the original source. Thank you for your hard work. Lin Moyu did not immediately check the fused spell, but lightly hesitated. Infinite fusion. Infinite fusion put away the big iron pot and flew around Lin Moyu twice, as if to say 023, it's not hard work. Then it flew back to its position and began to rest. The world tree stretched out a branch and gently supported infinite fusion with its leaves. A stream of gentle soul power was passed over to help infinite fusion. Perform recovery. At this time, Lin Moyu slowly went to check the spell. Summon the Dragoon Legion, neutron star. Summon the Dragon Rider Legion, come to the world, and fight. The upper limit of the Dragoon Legion, 1,000. There is no unnecessary explanation, just a short sentence. Just looking at the words, you can't tell how strong it is. But Lin Moyu believed that it shouldn't be much weaker. Try it. With a thought in his heart, the spell is activated and summoned directly in the world of rules. The magic stars flashed slightly, and in an instant, a huge army descended on the world of rules. The number of this legion reaches tens of millions, and its members are all dragon knights. Each dragon knight is over 100 meters tall, and their aura has reached its peak, making it stronger than the skeleton god general. In Lin Moyu's opinion, the dragon knight's combat power is among the top among the supreme ones. And this is only a single combat power. The strongest point of this technique should be group combat. At the forefront of thousands of dragon knights is their legion commander. There is not just one legion commander, but 11. 10 of them are captains, and 1 is a core musician. Judging from pure aura, the captain's realm has directly reached the realm of Tianzuan. Although the legion commander is in the same realm as a low-level Tianzuan, his combat power is obviously stronger. At the same time as the legion arrived, Lin Moyu obtained the legion's detailed information. Dragon Rider Legion. Number of members, 10 million. Member combat power, Peak Supreme. Captain's combat power, Junior Heavenly Lord. Legion Commander combat power, Elementary Heavenly Lord. Legion abilities, Bone Battle Formation, Dominance, Death Charge, Death Breath, Critical Strike. After Lin Moyu read the Legion's information, he finally understood. The two spells have indeed merged, and the former ruler of the Legion has become the captain and commander of the Dragon Rider Legion. They inherited all the abilities of the previous two spells, including Bone Battle Formation and Command. The abilities of the two spells were unified and integrated, and the number also changed. The original total number of Death Dragon Knights was 2.5 billion, but now they have been unified into 1,000 legions, each with 10 million soldiers, which means that the number of Death Dragon Knights has reached 10 billion. The number of legion rulers has dropped sharply, and the two sides have reached a perfect balance. At the same time that the fusion of spells was completed, the composition of the Bone Battle Formation changed from the Skeleton God General to the Death Dragon Knight. From then on, the Bone Battle Formation had nothing to do with the Skeleton God General. This was obviously different from the battle formations in ancient times. At the same time, Lin Moyu once used the World Fruit to allow 50 undead army commanders to obtain the regular world, which has also been retained. As a result, the leader of the Legion of 50 Dragon Knights owns the rules world, and can bring the legions into it, but the rest cannot. They can only keep the army outside, unless they can pass the World Fruit and obtain the rules world. The only battle realm has also been preserved. Unfortunately, there is only one battle realm, and it has no practicality for the time being. Lin Moyu also thought that he would take time to refine the war realm in the future and try his best to let every legion have a war realm. Now that the big world is recovering, various rare resources are gradually appearing, and it has become possible to refine the war realm. A fusion of spells caused some changes in Lin Moyu's combat power structure. The emergence of the Dragon Rider Legion just filled the gap in combat power between the Skeleton God General and the Skeleton King. From then on, the Skeleton God General, the Dragon Cavalry Legion, and the Skeleton King formed a combination of low, middle, and high-end combat capabilities. The techniques are unified, the combat power is unified, and it can be manipulated more easily. After looking at each of the other spells, after being promoted to Neutron Star level, they have been strengthened to varying degrees. However, compared with the magic that is integrated into the origin, there is still no comparison. Lin Moyu woke up from his promotion and saw the Great World Rune, and he became much closer to the Great World Rune. It's not far away from becoming the new master of the big world. After absorbing the origin of the Demon Tiger realm, the Great World has strengthened, but it is still far from the 7th level. The origin of the Demon Tiger realm is only the 5th level. If you want to advance through the 5th level of origin, you need a certain number. However, the enhanced origin can speed up the evolution of resources, and can also speed up the cultivation speed of creatures in the big world. It is always a good thing to have more geniuses emerge. Lin Moyu left the origin of the big world and reappeared at the center of the world. All the supreme beings in the human race have been waiting here for a long time. When they saw Lin Moyu, they all called Lin Supreme. Lin Moyu's body was wrapped in a thick aura of origin, and the pressure of the high-level supreme could not be suppressed and spread outward. At this time, even the strongest intermediate supreme among the supreme had to bow his head. Lin Moyu hadn't been back for a long time, and his eyes swept over everyone. In addition to the familiar supremes, there were also many new faces. These are all rising stars in the big world. They have come from behind and have surpassed Hao Jizuan and others in terms of realm. Lin Moyu smiled and said hello to Hao Jizuan and others, and then looked at these unfamiliar faces. You are lucky to have been born in a good era. Although your cultivation level has improved, I hope you can respect your predecessors and keep the human race united. His tone was a bit like that of an elder, even giving people a sense of superiority. His words also made several new supremes frown slightly, which made them uncomfortable to hear. The reason why he said this was because Lin Moyu felt a sense of dissatisfaction in them. It's because he's not convinced by himself, and he doesn't seem to think he's very powerful. They are all geniuses. In a very short period of training, they have surpassed their predecessors who once had to look up to them. It is inevitable that they are a little arrogant. If this goes on, their respect for Saint Hao and others will become less and less. Not to mention the human emperor and Xing Lao. The gap in strength will give them more say and eventually lead to problems within the human race. Lin Moyu felt that they should be reminded not to do this, otherwise the consequences would be serious. Lin Moyu was reminded for the first time with good intentions, but it was unclear whether he was willing to listen or not. Since ancient times, people's hearts have been unpredictable, and even the Heavenly Lord cannot control them. These people say so verbally, but no one knows how many of them will be remembered. Lin Moyu would not speculate on their thoughts. After chatting with Hao Jizuan and others for a few words, he turned around and left. Lin Moyu told them that the matter in the Demon Tiger realm has been settled. As for the next 3 worlds, Lin Moyu didn't say anything. After the battle in the Demon Tiger realm, Lin Moyu felt that telling them was useless. If you can't even stop yourself, just relying on the current strength of the human race will not have any effect. So he can face the 3 upcoming worlds alone. Lin Moyu opened the door to space, came to the edge of the human star field, and said loudly, "Human Emperor." In less than half a second, the human emperor's projection appeared next to Lin Moyu. The human emperor seemed to have known for a long time that Lin Moyu would come to find him and kept sleeping. Lin Mo said, "In recent years, those newly promoted supremes have not done anything extraordinary." The human emperor's face was not very pretty, and Lin Moyu knew what they must have done with just one glance. Lin Moyu's tone turned cold. "It's okay, let's talk about it." The human emperor said, "Actually, it's nothing. They just want to get some rights and participate in the management of human affairs." Lin Moyu chuckled lightly. "You and Hao Jizuan have always been responsible for the management of human affairs. Can these guys manage it well?" I think they don't want to participate in the management of human affairs, but they want some privileges. Whether in the most critical moment or later, the human race has followed one principle: fairness. Under the management of the human emperor, all systems are fair and just. Even if you are powerful and have a profound background, you cannot bully an ordinary person. There are some privileges on resources, but not too many. Now these supreme beings, because of their great strength, want to fight for some privileges for themselves. It is understandable, but cannot be allowed. The human emperor nodded. Indeed, they want to gain some privileges for their family. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Did you agree?" The human emperor shook his head. "No, this will shake the foundation of the human race, so I cannot agree to it." Lin Moyu knew about the human emperor and knew that he would not agree. Not only him, but Saint Hao and others would also not agree. Those who become saints in times of crisis have the deepest feelings for the human race and know how to be truly good for the human race. Lin Moyu continued to ask, "What then?" Human Emperor said, "There was an argument at that time, but it ended in nothing, but they probably won't give up." Lin Moyu smiled, "Of course I won't give up. I guess they will join together to accumulate strength. When my power completely surpasses yours, I will officially force you into the palace." The human emperor said, "They are still wary of you. Lin Moyu is a legend. He is like a high mountain, pressing on everyone's head. But as time goes by, the role of legend will become weaker and weaker. Just like Xiao Zhantian, if the human emperor now tells others that he is Rong Zhantian. Even if the human emperor is half as powerful as the Supreme One, how many people would be afraid of him? Big fists are the last word." Lin Moyu knew this truth very well, and with a thought in his mind, he took out 2 corpses. The corpses exuded terrifying coercion. Both corpses were Tianzuan from Luozi sect. They were killed by Antares in the battle in the Dojie. There were 5 corpses in total at that time, but later the purple-robed Heavenly Lord's corpse was used up, leaving only 4. Later, in Jiehai, Luozaizong delivered 3 more items to his door. Lin Moyu resurrected Kujun, and there were still 6 corpses of low-level Tianzuan in his hands. Immortal flames popped up and landed on the 2 corpses. Origin-level magic, resurrection of the dead. Following the ancient laws, life reappeared in the body of the deceased Tianzuan, and the soul began to regenerate. Just a moment later, they became resurrected, kneeling in front of Lin Moyu with great respect. Lin Moyu drew 3 ancient talismans, 2 of which fell on them, and the other was given to the human emperor. The human emperor can control the 2 of them through this ancient talisman in his hand. Then he took out an ancient containment talisman and let the 2 of them fall asleep directly. While sleeping, the time belonging to the resurrected person will stop passing. Even if it sleeps for millions of years, it will not be a problem. He handed the ancient talisman of containment to the human emperor. "With them here, we won't be afraid of those guys going up to heaven. If it goes too far, then kill them. There is no need to have any scruples because they are all human beings. This is our big world and our home. We must maintain it well and eliminate those bad factors as soon as possible." Lin Moyu believed that the human emperor could make the right choice. After managing the human race for so many years, his grasp of human nature was far better than that of ordinary supreme beings. The human emperor said, "Don't worry, there won't be chaos within the human race." Lin Moyu nodded, "Then I'll leave first. Find me anytime." The human emperor nodded, "Be careful in everything." "Same." Lin Moyu casually opened the door to space and disappeared. The human emperor held the ancient talisman of containment with a slightly complicated expression. In fact, the situation within the human race is worse than what he said. The other party is already trying to force the wife into submission. They want more rights and want to change the past rules. However, due to the strong opposition of Hao Zhizuan and others, their demands were not met. Afterwards, the conflict between the 2 parties threatened to intensify. Until recently, among the new supremes, an intermediate supreme appeared. Their strength suddenly surpassed that of Hao Zhizuan and others. According to the human emperor's estimation, the next round of invasion was just around the corner. If they weren't still afraid of Lin Moyu, they would have taken action long ago. Lin Moyu was promoted to high-level supreme this time and issued a warning to them, which might make them delay a little longer. But it's just a delay. When they become stronger again, they probably won't be able to bear it anymore. Nowadays, the resources of the big world are becoming more and more abundant, which also breeds their desire for rights. The human emperor held the ancient talisman of containment and said softly, "I hope you can be smarter, otherwise I will have to kill you." 0. The emperor really doesn't want to kill each other, but if it is absolutely necessary, he will have to do it. The boundary sea was shrouded in mist. Lin Moyu came outside the world and saw 3 worlds close at hand through the mist. In the boundary sea time, there will be another 10 days or so, and another world will hit us. Then in the next 10 days or so, 2 worlds came one after another in Aegean. When the Great World collapsed, these worlds regarded the Great World as a piece of cake and came one after another. It's a pity that because the big world has no master, the gods in the big world don't know that other worlds have come. Otherwise, they will definitely not leave. They may clean up all the races in the big world and then wait outside the big world. But this world is so strange, and there are many things that you have no regrets about. They only have one chance to choose. Since they choose to leave, there is no way to come back. Shueiji Tianzuan appeared silently on the edge of the big world. "Boy, you did a good job, defeating Yao Huzi so easily." The thunder-purple striped tiger looked really embarrassed when it escaped before. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "It's just good luck. He doesn't want to fight me, otherwise there will be some trouble." With that said, Lin Moyu took out 2 jars of fine wine and sent them to Shueiji Tianzuan. Shueiji Tianzuan took it with satisfaction. "It seems that guy is a little timid." Lin Mo said, "Actually, I don't want to kill him. I feel that his identity is unusual." "Unusual? What's his name?" "Lei Hao." Shueiji Tianzuan let out a long "Oh, my surname is Lei, no wonder you are begging." Seeing Lin Moyu's confused look, Shueiji Tianzuan smiled and said, "In the demon clan, the thunder and purple striped tigers are a big clan. Among them, their royal family has the last name Lei. It means that this guy was born in the royal family and has an extraordinary status, so he cherishes his life. For him, it doesn't matter if he fails in the world war. He can just go home. The family has enough resources for him to become a Taoist. Maybe I thought World War was fun, so I came here to give it a try. When I had enough fun, I just went back. It's not worth leaving my life here." Lin Moyu naturally made up the whole story in his head. A tiger with thunder and purple stripes who was born into the royal family did not want to rely on his family, so he wanted to come to Jihai to participate in the World War and prove himself. Unfortunately, it ended in failure. But it doesn't matter. To him, World War is just a game. Failure will not have much impact. It is just a waste of time. Lin Moyu said to himself, "No wonder that guy wants to go to the realm of the demon clan. You can report his name and quickly surround him." Shueiji Tianzuan narrowed his eyes. "If you really do this, then wait for death." Lin Moyu instantly understood the meaning of Shueiji Tianzuan's words. "You mean, in the demon clan, internal fighting is also very serious." Shueiji Tianzuan nodded. "It's quite powerful. The thunder-purple pattern tiger also has many hostile demon clans. Unless you have entered the realm of the thunder-purple pattern tiger, his name may still be useful. If you were somewhere else, hey, you would just wait to be hunted down." Lin Moyu smiled. "I didn't expect that guy would trick me before he left." Shueiji Tianzuan said, "I'm not trying to trick you, I just wish I didn't say it clearly. Most of the monster clan's brains are not as easy to use as your human clan. They prefer to use their swords and guns clearly. Oops. You humans, that's just intrigue and chaos." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "It also depends on the person. Not everyone is like this. For example, I am very sincere. Shui Ji Tianzuan glanced sideways at Lin Moyu, then looked at the 2 jars of wine in front of him, and said ambiguously, maybe. Seeing Shui Ji Tianzuan's expression of I don't believe you, Lin Moyu was a little bit dumbfounded. Has his character reached this point? Lin Moyu simply sat down and drank wine with Shueiji Tianzuan. Senior, I have 2 questions. Shueiji Tianzuan said, well, 2 jars of wine in exchange for 2 questions. Yes, this business can be done. Lin Moyu smiled and said, when did you become so obsessed with money? Shueiji Tianzuan snorted, stop talking nonsense. Please tell me what you're talking about. Lin Mo said, the first question is, where can I get spiritual materials? The higher the level, the better. How high level? The higher the better. Shueiji Tianzuan thought for a while. Spiritual materials are very rare. The value of spiritual materials in the Tianzuan realm is no worse than the 4th level source, and it is only a low-level material in the Tianzuan realm. Although this kind of material is rare, it is still available in the World Sea. I can help you keep an eye on it, or you can ask others to buy it. You should be able to buy it. If you want high-level spiritual materials in the Tianzuan realm, the King Xingminli medical shield is in the hands of a few generals. There are many chambers of commerce in the original continent. They may have. As for the spiritual materials of the Taoist realm, this kind of thing is too advanced, I don't know. Lin Moyu asked strangely, when you buy things in Jiahai, what do you use to trade? Shueiji Tianzuan said, anything of value will do. Magic weapons and materials of the Tianzuan realm, origins of level 4 or above, high-level Jiahai shells and Jiahai pearls will all do. The Jiahai pearl is the pearl that Lin Moyu has seen. The high-level Jiahai pearl refers to those above the Tianzuan realm. Haizhu. At that time, the one in Yunwu Farm was the boundary of Tianhunyuan. Lin Moyu understood that bartering was all done in the Boundary Sea, as long as it was something valuable. Lin Moyu asked, what does the origin continent use for transactions? Shueiji Tianzuan shook his head, that's the 3rd question. Lin Moyu was stunned on the spot, is this okay? Shueiji Tianzuan said, is there any problem? Lin Moyu sighed, okay, no problem. 64. He took out 2 jars of fine wine and gave them to Shueiji Tianzuan. He has plenty of fine wine, and the human emperor has prepared a lot for him, but they are all going to Shueiji Tianzuan anyway. Shueiji Tianzuan took it with satisfaction. Origin continent, as the name suggests, of course uses origin crystals. Although barter is also possible, the main currency in circulation is origin crystal. You will know the details after you go there. Lin Moyu nodded slightly. Do you know the situation of the 3 worlds that came here this time? Shueiji Tianzuan said, you probably know something. The masters of these 3 worlds are all human races and come from different sections. These 3 sects are not bad, at least they are better than Loazi sect. You can do it or not. You don't want to see enemies everywhere before you go to your origin continent. And the 3 of them are relatively life-saving. If they can't defeat them, they won't fight tooth and nail. The 3 worlds are called Qingling Realm, Yangming Realm, and Phaeton Realm. Boundary. They are both 5th level worlds, and they are not much different from the Demon Tiger world. The only difference is that there are more Tianzuan and 1 less. The names of the 3 worlds are all named after their owners. Its masters are Qingling Tianzuan, Yangming Tianzuan, and Phaeton Tianzuan, all of whom are minister-level gods. However, according to Shueiji Tianzuan, their background is not as good as Lei Hao, and they should not have as many trump cards as Lei Hao. But this is not 100% certain. After all, no one will reveal all their trump cards. The 3 of them all coveted the 6th order origin of the big world, but they still discussed it and decided to rely solely on their strength. The 3 of them would not intervene in the fight between them. From Lin Moyu's point of view, this kind of discussion is like saying, let's fight and let our men fight to the death. We can just watch the show. No matter whether we win or lose, we don't have to fight hard ourselves and live well. This also shows from the side that the three of them take their own lives very seriously. After finally cultivating to the heavenly realm, no one wants to die. Lin Moyu suddenly had an idea. You think, what if I rush in directly before the two worlds collide? Shueiji Tianzuan glared at Lin Moyu. Are you crazy? In the other party's world, your strength will be suppressed. Even if your magic is integrated into the origin, it will still be affected, but it will only have a big impact. It's just a small matter. Suddenly he changed the topic and said, if this is the case, it is not impossible. Indeed, some people have done this before. The premise is that your strength can completely crush the opponent, otherwise it will be very dangerous. Once you enter someone else's world, it's not that easy to get out. I think, to be on the safe side, you'd better not do this 2.5, just wait for him to come over and fuse. Lin Moyu had his own thoughts. The first one to hit was Qingling Jie, and behind him was Qingling Tianzuan. If I win, I won't be able to kill him. He will definitely take away all the emotions in the big world. If so, tell the other two heavenly lords. The other two worlds probably won't choose to merge by then. The fog of the world you finally borrowed will be in vain. There is no master in the big world, and the right to choose where the worlds collide does not exist in the big world. If the opponent does not choose to fuse, but chooses to collide, then they can at most suffer a little loss and avoid failure. In this way, Lin Moyu's plan to obtain the origin of their world would be difficult to succeed. Shui Tianzuan said, what you said makes some sense. Then, what are you going to do? Lin Mo said, after solving the Qingling realm, I plan to directly send troops to the Yanming realm and Faden realm. Shueiji Tianzuan did not continue to persuade Lin Moyu. After all, what Lin Moyu said was right. 12 days later, the Qingling realm finally came to the edge of the big world and collided with the big world. 3 days after the boundary sea time of his arrival, the Yanming realm will arrive, and 4 days after that, the Faden realm will also arrive. In these short 20 days, the big world will usher in the collision of 3 worlds. The collision began, and the Qingling realm chose to merge just as Lin Moyu expected. The big world began to roar and shake, and the laws of the 2 worlds began to merge. Lin Moyu calculated the time in his heart. The 3 days in Jiehai were more than 80 years in the big world. Based on the range he can currently move in the boundary sea, he will have to wait 2 days before the 2 worlds collide to destroy the group and attack it. Afterwards, Lin Moyu in the Yanming realm was not worried. After entering the scope of the fog of the world, the direction could not be changed. The collision between Yanming realm and the Great World is inevitable. What we need to worry about is the final Faden realm. Once the Yanming realm chooses another way to collide, the directions of the 2 worlds will change after the collision, and there is a high probability that they will not encounter the Faden realm again. Even if they encounter it, Faden world will still choose another collision method instead of integrating with the big world. 02 Lin Moyu already has a detailed plan. The first thing is to solve the Qingling realm in the shortest possible time. Then when Yang Mingjie enters the final area, directly attack Yang Mingjie to eliminate it so that he cannot collide with World-Weary World. At this time, Faden realm can no longer change its direction. When it approaches the big world, it can also be solved together. The plan is very simple. The only question is whether Lin Moyu's strength can break into the Yanming realm and solve it, instead of stealing the chicken and losing the rice. 000. The 2 worlds merged with each other, but Qingling Tianzuan looked a little weird at the moment. He sent a message to Yang Tianzuan and Faden Tianzuan. There are weird things in this world that are not as good as the master. You should be careful. He sensed that there was no one living in the world. This also means that the Demon Tiger realm lost the battle with the big world. Otherwise, the master of the big world should be a tiger with thunder and purple stripes, instead of being in a state of being ownerless. The fighting power of the Demon Tiger realm is no weaker than any of them, and even he lost, which also proves that the background of the World-Weary World is terrible. Qingling Tianzuan's reminder made Yanming Tianzuan and Faden Tianzuan feel a little heavy. They are all smart and naturally understand what it means. Yang Mingzuan responded, "This world has reached the 6th level and was once very powerful. You have to be careful." Faden Tianzuan also said, "If you lose, just admit defeat and leave. Don't risk your life." Qingling Tianzuan nodded slightly and slowly sank into his own world. "Whether it is strong or not, I would like to know only after fighting it." In the world, Lin Moyu didn't wait for the two worlds to be completely integrated, and he had already killed him. This time, he wanted to fight quickly and see how much combat power he could still have without the support of the laws of the big world. The door to space opens, and you arrive at the junction of the two worlds almost instantly. The two worlds have just begun to merge, and the laws of the big world have not yet completely penetrated into the Qingling world. Fortunately, the laws of space and time can still be used, but they are not as powerful as in the big world. The two laws merge into the power of time and space, the wings of the undead spread out, the soul power surges crazily, and the warm cup of silent words rushes into the clear spirit world at an alarming speed. Gradually, the laws of the big world become weaker and weaker until they disappear. The laws of the Qingling world are becoming more and more obvious. For Lin Moyu, an outsider, the Qingling world obviously does not welcome him. Huge pressure came towards Lin Moyu, trying to drive out this alien. As the lord of the world, Qingling Tianzuan sensed Lin Moyu immediately. A high-level heavenly lord, is he here to die? Could it be that he is the messenger of that world? His speed is very fast. It must be the law of space. As expected of a 6th-level world, even though it has been defeated, it still has such a genius. Qingling Tianzuan was very interested in Lin Moyu, and he also wanted to see what Lin Moyu wanted to do when he came here alone. Before the world merges, the Qingling realm has completed its descent. At this time, the army gathered and started to set off. Lin Moyu resisted the pressure brought by the Qingling realm, with excitement in his eyes. "I haven't felt this kind of pressure for a long time, it's quite exciting. I don't know what kind of world the Qingling world is. It's probably not the human race. Although the masters behind the world are human beings, the creatures that evolve out of the world are not necessarily human beings. This is the case in most cases. Unless there is some special complex or special purpose, it is rare for Lei Hao to deliberately act out the Demon Tiger clan. The Qingling world is not that big. Lin Moyu used the wings of the undead and then integrated the power of time and space. Regardless of the cost of consumption, the speed was only slightly slower than the space gate. He kept crossing the void and rushing into the depths of the Qingling realm. Gradually, he felt an unusually powerful vitality. Lin Moyu's heart stirred at the familiar scent. "I wish I could live in the animal world." Those who can possess such majestic vitality are generally plant-based creatures. Sure enough, he soon saw the creatures in the Qingling realm. There are no continents or stars in the Qingling realm, only plants growing in the void box. There are giant trees that are bigger than the galaxy, and there are also terrifying flowers and plants that are millions of meters high. There are inconspicuous grasses, but they exude the aura of the peak supreme realm. There are also ball-shaped vines and 5-flowered flowers like man-eating flowers. All kinds of plants are densely covered in the starry sky. This is the army of the Qingling realm, numbering in the millions, and the weakest ones are all half-step supremes. Among them, the number of supreme beings exceeds 100,000, and there are 3 in Yinxia. A willow tree of unknown height can collapse a galaxy with just its hanging branches. A group of curled-up vines, the vines are bigger than stars. Countless vines are like whips, dancing slowly in the void. There is no need to doubt its power, even the pinnacle supreme being cannot hold him back. But what made Lin Moyu feel the most threatening was the small grass in the middle. The grass is about 10,000 meters high and looks very inconspicuous among the willows and vines. But this grass gave Lin Moyu a sense of danger. It exuded a sharp sword energy, which seemed to be able to kill everything. Lin Moyu had only seen this level of sword energy in his elder sister. Lin Moyu stopped in front of the Qingling realm army, glanced past the army, and looked to the rear. Qingling Tianzuan, come out and see us. His voice echoed across the void. Qingling Tianzuan was obviously stunned for a moment, then he took a step forward and came to the front of the army. How did you know it was me? Who sent you here? Is there still Tianzuan in your world? When he appeared, countless plants all bowed down, showing respect and conquest to their master. Lin Moyu did not answer him, but said, Qingling Tianzuan, will Chen Huibei personally end this world war? Qingling Tianzuan was stunned for a moment. Lin Moyu's attitude made him feel confused. Other supreme beings, when facing the heavenly lord, at least maintain due respect. But Lin Moyu showed no awe at all, and Qingling Tianzuan even had the illusion that Lin Moyu was looking down at Long himself. This feeling is very strange. Tianzuan has his own spiritual sense, and the spiritual sense tells him that this is it. Qingling Tianzuan felt a little angry in his heart. Do you know that you are just the supreme being? If I want to kill you, it will be easier than squeezing an ant to death. Lin Moyu sighed. Forget it, I won't ask. If you want to end up, then do it. It's a matter of life and death. After finishing his words, he snapped his fingers casually. Immortal flames flew out, and the great void exploded, turning into a sea of fire. Qingling Tianzuan's expression suddenly changed. Impossible.